Jerks? How you doing today? What is up, jerks? Happy sunny, what is it, April 24th? We're 4 days by 420. 4 days by, 4 days after. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I've got a lot on my plate like I always do. But I wanted to pop in here just because of this Karen Reed stuff going on. And Grace Curley, I was on Grace Curley today. Had a good discussion with her, but I like it's so funny. Like the last topic, I'm not gonna play it. Usually I cut. I'm getting so busy. I haven't been even cutting the Grace Curley. I missed last week's, and this week's I was like, I'm gonna cut it today and post it. And I was like, let's just do a live show. Just post it on the live show. It's easier, get it done. So we're gonna play the Grace Curley interview from today, and it was all about Karen Reed, and then the Sandra Birchmore. And I kind of dropped the ball on the Sandra Birchmore question. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't. Oh, so funny when I've been perfect on there. Grace doesn't even have to usually throw the topics by me, but today there was one Sandra, some breaking news on Sandra that I didn't see, or I think I posted it, but I didn't read up on it. I've been so busy. Things can get hectic. I'm pointing out my mistakes to start the show. Holy shit! But I was on the radio today, Grace Curley show today on WRKO 680 AM and like 40 other radio stations all over New England. And so we're going to play some video from that today and also go over what we played yesterday, the live stream from the Karen Reed hearing, where Karen Reed was there. Let's just kick it off. We're gonna do it all. I was thinking we might even get into the defamation cases. I don't know. Probably not today. But eventually I think the defamation case is very serious. I'd be worried. But let's just play the video. Let's play the video from earlier today. How is everybody doing? Who's here? Is anybody here? I'm just like I haven't done a show in a little bit, like solo wise. I've done a few guest shows. I had my taxes. I had so much stuff to get. Like it's so weird how you can just get thrown obstacle after obstacle. Even today, like I may have to step out and take a call with a dog customer on the phone. Like it's just never ending. Even when you think you're going to slow down, but you're not. But anyways, let's just play the video from today. When I was on the radio with Grace Curley, I thought we had a really good segment about this Karen Reed wants Proctor's phone extraction. This new headline that we have up today. Oh, Jay Brill's here. Hey, Jay Brill. He's saying how to. He's popular in our chat. There he is. You like the tune? Some people don't like the tune. I almost started not playing it today because I want a new one. I need a new one. I can't keep playing the same one. I need a new one. There we go. All right. We're going to start here. This is earlier today. Grace Curley show.
She's a wacko.
She is the devil. I'm in hell.
Now, here's the millennial with the mic.
She still leaves me both breathless and speechless.
I love her. I love her. She is the best.
Somebody will ask you to say grace.
Grace Curley.
Of course, I stop it. I just remembered too, Jay Brill. Jay Brill's in the chat. I watched Jay Brill in JFK the other night. If I did if I do cover the Karen Reed defamation and Turtle Boy, which I might, we'll see. There's a few videos I watched that I liked that I think would be the best commentary to look at. I would say Lawyer, a guy named Rich Schoenstein. I think I said his name right. He's an attorney. And JFK and Jay Brill, their coverage of it. I thought it was excellent. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to Grace Curley from today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Grace Curley Show. I have updates for you on the man accused of spraying Ilhan Omar with apple cider vinegar. I have updates on Eric Swalwell and the amount of money he was paying a lawyer to fight sex assault claims. And, of course, we have more to talk about in regards to Iran. But right now, I want to zero in on what's going on in Massachusetts. And joining me to do that is Mike Crawford from the Young Jerks. Mike, just a fair warning, we have a lot of sound to get to here that I want to get your reactions to. And we will start by kind of giving people a little bit of a rundown of what happened in court yesterday in the case of Michael Proctor. Walk us through here. What was going on? Who was there? And why were they demanding Michael Proctor's private cell phone be made public?
There was 3 sets of lawyers, 2 of them for murder defendants, one of them being Rosemary Scarpiccio. She's pretty well known now from that documentary Trial 4 that was on Netflix. It was a big hit. She was there, and she was defending a murderer with another, basically 2 people on trial for murder with Karen Reed in her defense. And basically what this is about is Karen Reed is now asking for Proctor's phone information. They want all of his data. A lot more has come out apparently in these 2 murder trials. And Rosemary Scarpiccio, the defense attorney for Mr. King, who's under indictment for murder, who's going to be on trial, she had a lot to say, as well as Karen Reed attorneys, about some of the messages that were in there and why they all want this to happen. And basically what you're looking at is some, we saw what came out before with Michael Proctor and the Karen Reed trial, but apparently there's even much more vulgar, disgusting, racist, anti-Semitic, anti-woman, a lot of racial epithets, a lot of pictures of women apparently. So it's not a surprise, but there's a lot of juicy details in this phone extraction of Michael Proctor and this Sean Good, who's a Canton police officer. And basically what happened yesterday is Karen's team made the case that this is a public record. There's some privacy concerns, but those can be dealt with in the text messages, but that she's going to be actually suing the Massachusetts State Police now, not just Proctor, who she's already suing, but the Mass State Police and the town of Canton itself. And it's about Sean Good, who's a police officer in Canton who's been suspended since the fall, and Michael Proctor, and their text messages back and forth, apparently. And there's a lot of salacious stuff in here that just is more embarrassment for the Mass State Police. And it goes to the hiring practices, the supervision, the culture of the Mass State Police. And I think obviously the 2 murder defendants, their counsel, and Karen Reed in her civil defense, and the civil prosecution that they're going to be plaintiffs on, they're looking at this information to be helpful for all of them, all 3 of these individuals.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this a little bit, about those 2 murder defendants, because this was something that from the beginning, when Michael Proctor's text messages were coming to light in the Karen Reed case, we were all concerned about how this was going to, or curious, I should say, about how this was going to impact other cases that he was a lead investigator on or that he took part in. And that if he is this corrupt and he is this unable to, follow the rules of keeping a case private and handling it with the utmost sensitivity, did that leak out into other cases? And that is what the lawyer here, Rosemary, seems to be arguing is, hey, this guy had biases and he was not an impartial person, and that impacted my clients, is essentially her argument. I wanted to play, though, first Karen Reed's lawyer kind of setting this up for us as to why this is so important. These cell phone communications are so important. This is Aaron Rosenberg. Can I get cut 1, please?
This is what I loved. The cuts. I love the cuts. The production. Howie Car Radio over here.
Now, as opposed to the Commonwealth, Your Honor, it's very clear why Michael Proctor opposes this motion. As we said in our papers, these communications are not private, they're not personal, they're not confidential, and they're not privileged. But what they are is staggeringly anti-woman, racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, among other things. And that description applies to messages from both Mr. Proctor and Sergeant Good of the Canton Police Department. So it's understandable why Mr. Proctor wants to keep that secret, but he has no right or basis to do so.
Now, my question for you, Mike, is what is the argument that they're not private messages? Because in the Karen Reed case, and if I'm wrong on this, my memory might not be serving me correctly, but I do believe that there was texting on the actual company or, police phone, right? And there was messages on a private cell phone.
Correct.
And in this case, we're
think,
just talking about his private cell phone. So I'm not arguing with the lawyer here. I'm just curious, what argument are they making for as to why this should not be considered private communications between him and this other person? Is it because they were talking about work things? Is that where all of a sudden you can say, hey, they're private messages until you start talking about work on your private phone, in which case then we get access to it?
Exactly.
Got it.
And then it becomes public information. Anytime a public employee speaks about their job or with a coworker or someone with a different police department, like the Canton Police, as soon as they have any conversation, that's a public record, basically, unless they're talking about their own children, something like that. And that's the thing. This judge and the extraction and Karen Reed's team states that anything like that will be protected, obviously. There will be privacy, on a case-by-case basis. Not every single text gets released, but the conversations between any information about any other person that Michael Proctor had an investigation on, especially with their nude pictures of them, because he said that in the Karen Reed, we found out he was saying no nudes. Karen Reed didn't have any nudes on her phone. Well, are there any other people that he investigated that he did find the nudes? Did he share them around? Those are the types of things that need to be public. And I think the judge is going to rule that way. I think the judge is going to go along with this, and they'll shield what needs to be private, so.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, a reason why in a lot of companies, they do give you a work phone, and and in a lot of cases, I think they encourage employees, hey, if you're going to talk about work, be sure to only do it on this phone, because it really you then blur the line of what becomes accessible in a hearing like this and in a case like this, and it seems like that's exactly what he did. I want to play a cut here from the lawyer representing the other plaintiffs.
Funny too, because there's a big headline right now about the New England Patriots coach and his extracurricular activities. He blurred the lines. That's the biggest part of the scandal. The reason why it's so scandalous, because this is a media person. This is, and you're both married. The New England Patriots football coach, former football player, Mike Bravel, is in like a world of just crap right now. He went from top of the world to top of the shit, and we'll see if he holds on to his job. But it's the same thing. Like, once you blur those lines, like, the dude probably would never, ever happened if it had been anybody else but who he was hooking up with, right? Because she's in the media, and she's covering his team, and there's a lot of conflict of interest, too, in it. Blurring the lines. You don't blur the lines. People, this happens so often when you blur the lines. Don't blur the lines.
Against Proctor, and this one really has garnered a lot of attention for good reason. This is cut 5, please, Taylor.
Who this man is. He's a racist, really a racist person from the beginning. Some of the things that he says, Jeff, which I know you've heard through the grapevine, but some of the things that he says, like he'll say things like, "It's kill an N-word in Canton Day." Everybody get there. Like,
I get
this is
your
what we're
point.
dealing with, Judge.
I get
And
your
so
point.
what are we protecting? That's what I can't figure out.
I get your point. This judge is like, that's enough. Holy crap. Like, really? But like Rosemary, she's not messing around. She wanted that judge to know, like, this is what we're talking about, Judge. This is it. And the judge is like, that'll be enough of that. I get your point. You don't have to do it again. Like, I don't know. I think this is going to be in Karen Reed's favor. I do.
What are we protecting here?
Yeah, what is the argument? Is it just that, hey, there's private stuff on here that is sensitive about his family, or do they? Part of how I read it, Mike, was that his lawyers are basically just saying he's been through enough, like he's been publicly humiliated enough. Let's move on. But I don't know how much that really, how effective that really is in a court of law.
Definitely not. And I think that's it. They go to privacy too, and that Michael Proctor's been embarrassed too much. But I mean, that's really it. Is they're all embarrassed. they were all embarrassed by this, and this is why there's a big fight over this, and it's going to happen. I mean, it's already happened in the past where Karen got a lot of his text messages. A lot more text messages have been released, but now they're impounded, and Karen Reed's saying, unimpound it, send it to me. I need these for my plaintiff suit and my defense, so she's going to be using these. And, all this stuff, it's unbelievable what you just played on the show here. It's just that was Rosemary just repeating what Michael Proctor apparently wrote in some text messages about Canton. Or was that Sean Good? I was kind of confused on which one it actually was, but it sounded like it was Proctor. But this is wild that we're finding out about even worse stuff than what we heard in the Karen Reed trial.
Yeah, and I want to play one more cut here from.
It's a thing, right? It's even worse than you can even ever imagine. And they're still trying to hide it. It's like, what? Why are they still trying to hide this shit? Like, you have to pull off the Band-Aid. You have to pull off the Band-Aid. Unbelievable. I gotta say, when I do these phone interviews with Grace, I do get nervous. It's funny. Like, I feel much more comfortable doing the YouTube or even in studio, even though I get nervous on that too, honestly. But the phone thing, to do the phone call interview thing, it's I find that the most difficult. Let's just put it that way. So it reminds me, like, I'm looking forward to, hopefully, when it gets a little slow in my dog business in the summer, to be able to drive out, and there'll be less traffic too, to go be able to drive out and do some more in studio guest spots on the Grace Curley show. Especially when the elections come too, with Diana DiZoglio, and DiZoglio's office just hit me up too today. They want me to make sure that I'm covering the audit Supreme Judicial Court hearing on it. We'll be covering that. It's going to be coming up first week in May. I think it's May 5th. It's a Wednesday. Or is it May 6th? May 6th it is. We'll be covering that. Well, there's so much to cover upcoming. I'm looking forward to just making our way. Like, that's the thing. I don't feel any pressure to, like, kill myself and, like, create content every day. But when there is, we'll be here. There's plenty of content to go around. Here we go. Grace Curley.
Rosemary, and get your reaction, Michael. This is a cut 4, please.
Our point is that he's biased. It's certainly against Black and brown individuals.
Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, especially if he said those statements about
I couldn't even.
And can't.
Well, you guys, like, I was like tongue tied on that. How do you repeat that without getting yourself on trouble on radio? I handle it somehow.
That just, of course, absolutely, and I think it definitely going to help Rosemary in her case, possibly. I think that guy probably did it, so we'll see what happens in that case. But just the fact that people that probably did the crime could even get off, or even the possibility of getting off because of Michael Proctor being racist, being anti-Semitic, being anti-woman. I mean, that's the big one that screams at me, is that this guy had no respect for women, unless you're just a white male in the Mass State Police or with the Canton Police. He really had no respect for you, it seems like.
Yeah, and I want to read this here. This is from his lawyer. Mr. Proctor's been through quite enough here. Again, like, I don't think, like, I understand that you think he's Michael, the victim in this, but I don't think anyone really cares. He said, I'd state to the court, Your Honor, that this is a gentleman. That's where I would first say objection. I don't think he's a gentleman. I think you could call him a lot of things.
What's with all these Michaels giving us a bad name, too? There's Michael Bravel, Ravel, whatever we call him. Michael Ravel. And then there's this Michael Proctor, because they're giving us a bad name. That's why I have to go by Mike. Oh, they call him Mike Proctor too, right? God damn. They're giving us Mike's a bad name. Stop doing that.
I don't think that'd be one of them. Who committed 12 years of his life as a Mass State Trooper. He worked 40 hours a week, keeping drug dealers away from our kids' schools, murderers away from our family, rapists away from our children. So they're really trying to make him out to be the injured party here, Mike. I don't think it's going to be effective. Now, speaking of cell phones and the headlines here, feds cite new phone evidence in bid to keep Matthew Farwell jailed. Talk to me about the latest in the Sandra Birchmore case.
I haven't been following every detail of this lately because it's tough to follow without.
This is where I choked. I choked today. I'm see how honest I am. It's funny because I did see that headline, but I just hadn't read the story. Sometimes I can't keep up. I've had a lot going on the last couple of days, so
Going to court or even being able to get a court feed.
maybe I'll share why.
I mean, it's wild that Matthew Farwell is pushing back and trying to win this. You thought he was going to just roll over, and it seems like he's not. It seems like they're going to have a somewhat good defense on this.
Yeah, it'll be definitely worth watching.
It will be worth watching, but it's like he's not going to win. I should have been a little clearer on that too. I wasn't ready for that. Usually we go over the topics, but a lot of times we don't lately. A lot of times she'll just throw them in, especially since I've been kind of light on the topics I have. But I wasn't ready today for that one. Like usually it's fine. Usually I'm ready for anything because I read all the stories everywhere locally. But I hadn't read that one, and I wasn't ready for it. Of course, I read it right after. It does look bad for Falwell. Jeez, like what's going on with that story? I should have. I think Grace, of course, too, smartly assumed I would have read that one because it's so salacious. But like I said, I've had a couple crazy last couple days. But you do what you do, like that story. Oh, we're gonna have to cover it. Like that's what I love about Grace too, and being on that show is that she directs me on certain coverage too. Like if I'm missing something, and she just gave me that kind of wake up call. Like, geez, you got to focus on Sandra too. Like you got to get. It's been a while since we had Mizzy on the show, so that's why I enjoy going on her show too. It's like to have other people you bounce it off of, and they got their own thing. It's fun. It's live radio too, and sometimes you're not going to be perfect. I was almost perfect today.
Mike Crawford, I thank you for joining us. Everyone, check out the Young Jerks on YouTube. He's following all of these cases, and we will be right back.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. That was fun. I like doing that every Friday. It's fun. Sometimes it's a little stressful because you're like, I don't know if we have enough topics this week. I don't know how I missed that Sandra story. Like, I think I even reposted it. But like I said, I get so busy, I don't always go back and read them. Read the whole thing, Or recall. I might even read it and not recalled it. My head's filled with a lot of stuff. All right. So the other thing I wanted to do is just kind of go back and watch this hearing with everybody. Because when I was playing this the other day, I couldn't do that with you. I'm streaming it. I'm doing other things. I got so much going on right now. I can't tell you about, but good things happening. Stop the stream. Let's just do this. Hold on one second. I know I can't do it all. That's the other thing I'm realizing too. It's like what I didn't do the last couple of years, honestly, is pace myself. And that's one of my issues is that I'm kind of a workaholic. But it worked for me. And I knew, like, I even said to myself, I'm going to do this for a limited time while the Karen Reed thing. And then I'm going to slow down. And at the same time, I'm trying to keep my shit going now, especially since we took some controversial stands and lost people. But at the same time, I'm just sticking to keeping me happy. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be doing shows all the time, but I'm going to be doing good shows. I got a good upcoming guest list. Trust me on that. And there's a lot of good content. But it means that I'm not always going like gangbusters. And sometimes I'm going to be a little rusty too. We're out of the loop. Yeah, exactly. I need my solitude. I need my day off. I've been trying to do that a lot more, actually. All right. So I just wanted to replay this I just break it down. It's not very long. Let me get rid of one of these tickers. I don't like the multiple tickers going. I didn't even realize I put that one up. All right. Yeah, what was interesting here is there's like basically four parties here, right? There's the state, there's King, and then there's this other guy. So there's two people who were being charged with murder. Karen Reed and the state. There's four parties here. What a wild I mean, this is just when have you ever seen this?
No. Maybe we'll try. We'll try. Yeah. I don't think so. What's something changed?
Yeah, Rosemary's phenomenal. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for wanting to send stars. I appreciate that. I also got the Cash App and Venmo if people ever want to contribute that way. It's on the ticker on the bottom. Ahead of the start time. Let me just maybe fast forward a little bit. I like kind of watching who's there though too.
Mr. Krowski, how you doing?
You're on the bench at 159.
Hey, well, it was 2:03 you came in. It means you're 4 minutes late.
Yeah, judges call him out.
Next, for the court numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1 is Como versus Miles King, 21 CR 320. Mr. King is present.
That was funny. Like even before they call the case, the judge is just effing around with Krowski. This is funny too. The Krowski is on the other side of this now. This is a guy who used to represent Colin, wasn't it? Was it Colin or Jen? I can't even remember now. I think it was Colin, actually. He represented Colin. I think he did a pretty good job of it, actually, Krowski. And now he's on the other side of it. He's on Proctor's ass, defending somebody else. This is pretty interesting, actually. I'm going to step out for 1 second, though. I'll be back. I just want to check on something. I got an extra dog staying here tonight, too. I want to make sure he's good.
And represented by attorneys Rosemary Spicchio and Nicole Spicchio. Also before the court, Como number 2, Como versus Bianca Chanchio, 22 CR 265. Ms. Chanchio is not present. Her presence is waived by her attorney, Joseph Cataldo.
Yes.
Also before the court, Como versus Giovanni De Los Santos, number 3 on today's list. Mr. De Los Santos is not present. His presence was waived by his attorney, Joseph Krowski Jr. And finally, before the court, number 4, Como versus Sean Johnson, 22 CR 268. Mr. Johnson is present and represented by attorney Rosemary Spicchio. For the Como, we have Lisa Beatty and Pamela Alford. And if the parties, and for Michael Proctor, we have attorney Tom DeGangi, and for Carrie, we have attorney Aaron Rosenberg. If the parties could please all identify themselves for the record, beginning with the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon, Lisa Beatty for the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pamela Alford for the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon.
Attorney Joseph Krowski Jr. on behalf of Giovanni De Los Santos.
Okay, hi.
Good afternoon, Rosemary Spicchio on behalf of Mr. King and on behalf of Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nicole Spicchio on behalf of Mr. King and Mr. Johnson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Aaron Rosenberg on behalf of third party Karen Reed.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Tom DeGangi on behalf of third party Michael Proctor.
Hi, Mr. DeGan.
Joseph Cataldo on behalf of Bianca and Chanchio.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Cataldo. I'll start with counsel for Ms. Reed. Go right ahead. I've read the briefs and I'm familiar with the history of what's happened with this phone. So go right ahead.
Understood.
This is on something you haven't filed with, right?
Say that again?
This is on a suit that you haven't filed as of yet.
This is a suit that we are going to file within the coming weeks as soon as the presentment period expires.
Okay.
So it was mentioned in the suit that we filed, and we said we were going to file it once that period expired, and that's the same suit that we're talking about.
Okay.
Because of some machinations and procedural things, that now has to be a whole separate lawsuit because the other lawsuit we filed was removed to federal court where we can't sue those state police. So it's going to be a separate case as of the next few weeks. But what we're seeking here, Your Honor, is actually a minor procedural amendment to the order that you issued last time we were all together. And it's an amendment that will have zero practical impact. As of today, according to the court and the Commonwealth and the parties, Ms. Reed may already use these communications from Mr. Proctor's private cell phone for any purpose in the pending O'Keefe litigation. And they're subject to the restrictions that we all agreed upon and that Your Honor accepted. So if we wanted to or needed to, we could today file these documents that we're talking about. All that we're asking is that we have permission from the court to do the same thing we're already allowed to do in the pending litigation in Plymouth, in the O'Keefe litigation, in the complaint that we file, and also in Superior Court. And we are agreeing that it would be subject to the exact same restrictions. The only change to our agreement with the Commonwealth and your order would be adding one other litigation that it could be used in. But again, another Superior Court litigation. This request is necessary because the communications are highly relevant to the negligent hiring, supervision, and training claims that Ms. Reed is bringing against the Massachusetts State Police, as well as the town of Canton, which she's going to do in a matter of weeks, as I just told Your Honor. And these relate to primarily Mr. Proctor, as well as Canton Police Sergeant Sean Good. These messages contain images of, as is already in the record and as the Commonwealth has said, and information about women that appear to be unrelated to the people in the conversations and likely unaware that they are contained, these pictures or messages are contained within this data. We've already agreed that that is subject to strict confidentiality provisions. We are not able to use those unless we come to you and ask, and we are not asking for that right now. What we're asking for is the messages, primarily the messages written by Michael Proctor and Sergeant Good of the Canton Police. But now the Commonwealth, in its opposition to this procedural motion, is attempting to tell Ms. Reed, a private party in civil litigation, what she does and does not need or get to use in the complaint that she's going to file. There is nothing in the rules, the law, or anything else that gives the Commonwealth the right or the ability to do that. And this is not premature at all.
This is like the best press too for her. It basically alerts everybody what her next step is. This whole hearing was just about something the judge has already allowed in these other civil cases. This is the new civil case that everyone's been waiting for, where Karen Reed's going to sue the Massachusetts State Police and the town of Canton as well. And this judge is going to go along with this. It's already happened before.
Ms. Reed does not need to wait according to any rule or law. She does not need to wait until discovery to use evidence and communications that she already knows about. So frankly, it's unclear why the Commonwealth is joining with Mr. Proctor to oppose this motion today. These existing restrictions are more than sufficient to protect the legitimate confidential images of women or other people that are not Michael Proctor, are not Sergeant Good, are not otherwise relevant. But the only reason why we need to even come to you today is because when Ms. Reed tried to add these claims to the existing O'Keefe case, a number of parties and third parties objected and opposed that, and she was unable to bring those claims in the existing case. If that hadn't happened, this wouldn't even be necessary. We'd already be able to use them. Now, as opposed to the Commonwealth, Your Honor, it's very clear why Michael Proctor opposes this motion. As we said in our papers, these communications are not private, they're not personal, they're not confidential, and they're not privileged. But what they are is staggeringly anti-woman, racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, among other things. And that description applies to messages from both Mr. Proctor and Sergeant Good of the Canton Police Department. So it's understandable why Mr. Proctor wants to keep that secret, but he has no right or basis to do so. As a reminder, and I understand you're aware of the history having been involved, but Ms. Reed only has access, Ms. Reed and other defendants only have access to this because the court ordered the Commonwealth to get this phone and to conduct this review. According to Mr. Proctor's own counsel, between the time that the phone was returned to Mr. Proctor by the Commonwealth and counsel was engaged, he conveniently lost that phone. So this is the only way that these documents are available. In this opposition, he just rehashes the same arguments that Your Honor rejected in the prior motion where we were aligned with the Commonwealth. They're not private, they're not protected messages. These are messages he shared with his group chat of friends. And he also now triples or quadruples, I've lost count, down on the argument that the court should restrict use of his own chats, his own messages, because he chose to share images and private information relating to third-party women with his friends. He wants to restrict use of that now to protect those women's rights. I think the absurdity of that argument is clear. In a normal civil case, there would be no question that Ms. Reed could use these documents in her coming complaint, but obviously this is not any civil case. We recognize that. So we're here again, seeking the court's permission to do so again, subject to the exact same confidentiality provisions that everyone has already agreed to.
Okay, and so you're talking about the February 26th order on the O'Keefe versus CC Hospitality, that same order that I issued?
Correct.
Okay.
And the only change would be adding
this matter here.
Correct.
Okay, let me hear from
Leslie,
Mr.
what's Lally
Go right
reading? What's he doing?
Your Honor,
Lally's
the
looking up for a
plaintiff
second.
purports to bring a claim under Chapter 258 for negligent hiring and supervision, not against Mr. Proctor, not against Sergeant Good, but against Mr. Proctor's employer, the Mass State Police. The documents that you ordered produced in February of this year are text messages and images from a private cell phone. It's a matter of public record that back in January and February of 2022, and well prior to that, the Mass State Police did not have any policy or procedure governing the use of private cell phones by their troopers. Okay, so if he wants to bring a negligent hiring claim against the Mass State Police, there's no way, and the plaintiff doesn't allege this, or excuse me, Ms. Reed doesn't allege this or plead it in her motion, that the Mass State Police could have known about these text messages on a private cell phone, should have known about these text messages on a private phone, or through the reasonable use of discretion would have ordered a Mass State Police trooper to turn over his private cell phone after working there for 12 years. In fact, Your Honor, I'm not aware of any employer in the Commonwealth, or perhaps even nationwide, that orders their employees to turn over their private cell phones before they're hired or after they're hired. That would be tantamount, with all due respect, Your Honor, to the trial court or the governor putting you on the bench saying, I want to look at your cell phones. It just doesn't happen, Your Honor.
It's full of it here because we have these FOIA laws, number one, where if you're a public employee, depending on who you are, not at the State House, because they've exempted themselves, not the State House or the governor, but basically everybody else, all the state police officers, all the town employees, the state, the Canton police, there's a FOIA law. So if you're doing a public business on your private cell phone, yeah, people can get that information, sir. Keep up with the laws. And I think in this situation, it's the same thing. It's the same. It's the same standard. He was doing public information on a private cell phone.
How boring I am.
Yeah.
Secondly, Your Honor, there are privacy interests here. In footnote number 2, I believe, of Ms. Reed's motion.
He looks, you know what this guy reminds me of right here? The way his look. He looks a little bit like Mike Milbury. Doesn't he look a little bit like Mike Milbury-ish? People remember Mikey Milbury? Like to get in some scraps.
She recognizes, and Attorney Rosenberg just said it right now, these text messages and these alleged photographs are unrelated to the Karen Reed case. What relevance can they have to a negligent hiring, training, and retention claim against the Mass State Police, where Mr. Proctor is not even a named defendant in that lawsuit? Moreover, Your Honor, if you read Exhibit 1 to my opposition, it's a 17-page opinion by Justice Krupp.
Yeah, I read it.
Okay,
Yeah, I read
so you saw in there, Your Honor, that Justice Krupp, back in November 2023, had serious concerns about the privacy interests that were being brought upon by Miss Reed's father.
She got her car back. It's going to be auctioned off, actually, I think in May. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, no, she got her car back. It's going to be auctioned off by JB Auto. I believe.
Followers, okay? Cell phone calls to Michael Proctor's wife, posting Michael Proctor's wife's cell phone on a public forum, posting the name of her employer on a public forum, posting her employer's phone number on a public forum, and encouraging Miss Reed's followers to bombard the employer. What is going to happen? I'm not aware, Your Honor, and I'll say this frankly, I'm not a party to the wrongful death case down in Plymouth. But if there's no confidentiality order in that suit, there's nothing protecting any person from using this information and going after Proctor, the witnesses, the House defendants. You may be aware that just about a week ago, the people that lived inside or that were inside 34 Fairview Road in Canton on the night of this murder actually filed a defamation suit against Ms. Proctor. Now, what's telling, Your Honor, is I came across some.
I want to know what this guy's name is. I don't even know who this is. Who is this guy? What's his name? If anyone in the chat knows. I didn't see it reported in any of the news stories. It's interesting because he's naming the House defendants civil suit now, which adds a lot of credence to what JFK was saying the other night when I was listening to him to talk about that lawsuit.
Information that I did not have at the time I filed my opposition. And it's a motion in opposition to a motion to compel. Strike that. It's an opposition to a motion to compel filed by the town of Canton on a motion to compel brought by Attorney Rosenberg. Attorney Rosenberg and Ms. Reed are seeking the personnel files of Sergeant Good. And this was filed about 3 weeks ago on the docket. And the town of Canton alleges that when they received this original keeper of record subpoena for Sergeant Good's personnel file, the town of Canton turned over a one-page document, which was a letter.
I comment on something because I think this is the big question, right? Madam Dildos and his House defendants, question mark. Let's call them by the correct name. Murderers, question mark. I don't call them murderers because I don't have proof of it. You know, that's basically where I stand on it. Like, I might have an opinion that something happened in that house, but there could be so many scenarios where John O'Keefe died, but didn't get hit by a car. I think that's what my opinion is. And I think when you call people murderers, you got to make sure you know it's a fact and you know who it is. Like, there's been a lot of speculation who in that house might have actually done it, right? I think some people are more likely suspects than others, and I think some people's opinions have changed over time. And so that's why it's not smart or safe to call people murderers when you really don't know. I think the thing I feel more comfortable with is that I don't think Karen hit John O'Keefe. The body doesn't match the car doesn't match neither of them. It doesn't make sense. So that's what I'm comfortable with. I think it's just much safer for everybody. So I think be smart on this stuff. Who wants to get sued? I don't want to get sued. Some people seem like they want to get sued. Maybe it's funny. I was watching the loophole lawyer. His whole thing was like, sue me, Brian Higgins. I think that's actually a safer person to get sued by because he's a former federal agent. So you might have some protection as a public figure for one. And there's more like, suspicion on him. There's more. But geez, he's a lawyer though. A lawyer can represent themselves. I would think. But I would how do I say this? I would caution the average person just to be careful. Don't get yourself into something you can't afford to deal with. Because if I do get sued, like I'll be ready to deal with it. Like I have all my shit lined up. Trust me on that. But I'm not welcoming it, and I don't think anyone should want to welcome this type of heat because this defamation shit is like they have a serious attorney on it, very serious. I think for some of the for Aiden anyways, they have a lot of they have a lot to work with. But in the end, it's still gonna be hard to even get Aiden caught up in this on the defamation because she wasn't found guilty. But we can talk about that more. I want to just stick to this what we're watching right here. A side tangent.
Letter putting Sergeant Good on paid administrative leave. And according to the town of Canton's filings,
That's the thing, though. Freedom of speech isn't free. There's consequences, especially if you say things about people that might not be true. And even if it is true, sometimes the cost to defend it. Even if you say it in the right way. I just had questions on another situation unrelated to this, and I got sued. It cost me a lot of money just because I had questions, just because I stated my opinion. All legally protected speech. So I know all about freedom of speech. It costs money, even when you're going by what's lawful. And so if you go over that line, it costs you money, costs you time, costs you energy. You have to question, is this really worth it? For some people, it might be. For me, I don't like court. That's the bottom line. I know I don't sue people. I'm not a cop caller. I just like to live my life. I don't. But I think people need to consider it and just be careful and know what the law is, know what the line is. Opinion is protected, but you could still be sued for it. That's what happened with me. I got sued. It cost me $12,000, but my audience kicked in, I think, like 25. So whatever that total amount is, that's how much it costs to defend free speech. In my case, that was just opinion, which was legally protected, which is wild. Like that's the state of. So I can't even imagine what it's going to cost Aiden and Karen, and it sucks for them. But it's also a big risk for the plaintiffs, obviously. Let's just get back to this, though. This is what I want to focus on.
that decision had nothing to do with the Karen Reed case. However, according to page 2 of that opposition, the town of Canton attorney states, on or about December 12, 2026, town council produced to defendant's counsel a copy of the notice of placement on paid administrative leave letter issued to Sergeant Good. Immediately after the letter was produced to the defendant, copies of the letter were posted online. Within 24 hours, someone leaked it to the press. You've got nude photos allegedly in this case that they want to might make reference to in this litigation. You've got the privacy interests of witnesses. You've got the privacy interests of victims. None of this is relevant to a negligent hiring, retraining, and retention claim against the Mass State Police, Your Honor. I would also state that there's no joinder here between myself and the Commonwealth. We didn't join motions. I filed my own separate opposition. I just want to clear that up. There's no agreement between us. So based on all that, Your Honor, I think Mr. Proctor's been through quite enough here.
This is the funniest shit of all. Michael Proctor's been through quite enough. Oh, come on, man. Come on. I don't think he's been through enough, actually. With how much he's fucked up. It's funny, too, because I called them the House defendants recently on the show today. They're also now the House plaintiffs. So there's a lot of sides to this. There's so many tentacles and layers and This stuff is just going on and on and on. It's unbelievable. We're back in court in Norfolk County. Hopefully, we're not back in Norfolk County for more criminal. Like we know this, we're going to be there for Aiden. We're going to be watching Aiden Carney in court. I'll be streaming that. He actually seemed like he wanted me to stream it, so I'm going to stream it. Why not stream Aiden Carney? I've decided. I was thinking about it over the last months, contemplating it. I think I'm pretty much going to stream his trial. But hopefully there's no more. Hopefully there's no more charges.
State to the court, Your Honor, that this is a gentleman who committed 12 years of his life as a Mass State Trooper. During those 12 years as a Mass State Trooper, he was evaluated every single year by his supervisors. He was never disciplined. He never received a letter of warning, was never suspended. He worked 40 hours a week, keeping drug dealers away from our kids' schools, murderers away from our family, rapists away from our children. It's well known, Your Honor, that after these records came out, his cell phone texts, which he openly admitted in court that he sent, after they came out, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office investigated him, the Mass State Police investigated him, and according to the special prosecutor who uttered an open court, perhaps this one, on March 4th, 2025, a federal grand jury investigated him and closed the investigation. This is nothing but a fishing exhibition, Your Honor, and I think it should stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, why don't I do this? I'll go to the Commonwealth last. Why don't I start with Attorney Scarpiccio? I'll go to Mr. Krowski and then Mr. Cataldo. Attorney Costa, are you still part of this? Or is your...
I am not. I'm just
Okay.
right today.
Nice to see you.
I wish I was.
He likes Krowski.
Okay,
We missed you.
go right ahead.
Yeah, so we don't really have a position with respect to anything that's going on here.
Yeah.
We're here for two reasons. One, because again, we want to explain to the court that this protective order is ridiculous. He doesn't meet any of the conditions for which a protective order should issue. He's not a victim. He doesn't need protection. No one has threatened him. He says some vulgar, disgusting things that apparently repeatedly from 2014 to 2022, and shares it with his friends like it's please pass the buck. That's the tone of these conversations, Judge. And so the protective orders, for my purposes, are interfering with my client's ability to get a fair trial. Right now, my client, Mr. Johnson, is housed at the Norfolk County House of Correction. We moved mountains to get him access to what we call the Proctor materials. And right now, there's a 44,000 page report that comes from his phone.
Holy crap. No wonder why they want more. They want more legal teams on it. They're like, Karen, you can have it. See what you can make out of it. We'll give it to everybody. Everybody gets a piece of this. This is like the Epstein files. This is called the Proctor files. Holy shit. Right? Like this is the Proctor files. Thank you so much. Does her research. Thank you for becoming a member. All right, I'm gonna go check on the dogs real quick. Girlfriend just came back. I want to see if she knows the time that telephone call with a customer is. We have a joint customer we're gonna try to speak to tonight on the phone. Well, that's the thing. Proctor was looking for nudes for Karen Reed. He told his friends, and then, no nudes. Didn't find any nudes, but apparently there might be some picture. It seems like pictures of other women on there. So did he steal nudes from other people he sees phones from? Like, wouldn't you want to know about that? I think we all want to know.
And there's additional information, close to 70,000 documents that he has to review. Right now, he gets 2 hours a week to review them. He's got a November trial date. It's not going to happen, Judge. It's taken me almost 7 months to get through the bulk of what was happening with Trooper Proctor. So I'm here again, Judge, saying that this man should not be treated any differently than any other witness in any other case. Why are we protecting him? Why is the Commonwealth protecting him? Why is anyone protecting him? The public should get to know exactly who he is and what he's done. They do that with any witness. If it's a regular witness who appears before any judiciary body and they've done something wrong, they have criminal records that they plaster all over the front page of papers, nothing like that is private. So why are we considering this private in this case, Judge? And that's really the issue that I have. And I've also, we're not arguing today, Judge, but I've filed motions in both Mr. King and Mr. Johnson's case for materials regarding Mr. Proctor's hiring, Mr. Proctor's application, Mr. Proctor, whoever reviewed that application, any of the exhibits to that application, and then any and all of his training, because I think his lawyer said it best. Our point is that he's biased. It's certainly against Black and brown individuals. I think Ms. Reed has a different issue, and I'm not disputing that he's biased against women as well. But in this case, Judge, our position is that it's not a separate entity. In other words, when we did the Ellis case, and when we knew the police officers at Ellis were committing crimes, in the beginning, when the first lawyers filed that motion for a new trial, we couldn't connect the crimes to the actual the conviction in Ellis. And it took us 18 years to be able to do that. We were able to finally connect it. This is completely different. This isn't like that. It's not a separate entity. It's who this man is. He's a racist, really a racist person from the beginning. Some of the things that he says, Judge, which I know you've heard through the grapevine, but some of the things that he says, like he'll say things like, "It's kill an N-word in Canton Day." Everybody get there. Like,
I get
this is
your
what we're
point.
dealing with, Judge.
I get your
So
point.
what are we protecting? That's what I can't figure out. What are we protecting here?
Okay.
Why isn't he subject to the same type of scrutiny that every other witness and every other case is subject to? And I'm saying it specifically for Mr. Johnson, who's in custody, who doesn't have access to his materials, who can't be ready for a November trial date unless we do something different, Judge. And in this case, the difference that I want the court to consider is to be able to give him all of these materials in paper form, in a single cell, so he can review them and be ready for his November trial, Judge. That's what I'm asking.
Thanks very much. Attorney Krowski.
Judge, thank you. On behalf of Mr. De Los Santos, to the extent we have any standing whatsoever in the civil matter, which seems to be what we're addressing, Mr. De Los Santos does not object to the free flow of information, any and all relevant information being turned over to Ms. Reed's counsel. As a matter of fact, I think that Mr. De Los Santos inevitably will benefit from the more information that is shared related to Trooper Proctor in the contents of his cell phone. I can echo the comments of Attorney Scarpiccio. We do have access to 44,000 pages. I will tell you, it is breathtaking, upsetting, and unnerving. We agreed to a protective order at the beginning of this case just because we wanted to get the case moving along. I can tell you that I anticipate within the next 3 to 4 months, once we've had a chance to go through all of this documentation, to get total and absolute relief from the protective order in the criminal case. I will say, we are mindful there are some innocent third parties that have been captured in all of the malfeasance in the cell phone. We'll do whatever we can and work with the court and Commonwealth to make sure that we don't bring them into this. We don't re-victimize them. We don't harass them. But the information in them is all germane to how an investigation in my client's case, Mr. De Los Santos's, was conducted. So we have absolutely, unequivocally, no objection to what is sought by Ms. Reed's attorney. I just think it's not my case, a civil suit, but I think there was counsel misspoke. Ms. Proctor has not been sued for defamation. But that's our position, and I have talked to Mr. De Los Santos about this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. No objection. No objection.
Thank you. Whoever wants to argue for the Commonwealth. Attorney Bailey.
So my understanding of the purpose of today's hearing is to deal with the civil matter.
It is.
If counsel for either of the defendants wants to make a written motion to alter the terms of the protective order, they are free to do that at any time, and we are happy to engage in conversation outside of filing of a written motion. The Commonwealth, because there is significant interest in what's happening here today, I would like to make it clear that the Commonwealth has no interest in protecting former Trooper Proctor's statements that are contained on these phones. and we have engaged in providing expedient production of discovery to these defendants and all other defendants who are impacted. And so I want to make it clear that the reason that we had to seek and obtain a protective order to begin with was in part because this court directed us to do so when you directed us to obtain this material. So we follow court orders. That's number one. Number two, as some people have alluded to, there is material contained within the thread of these text chats that does impact significantly innocent and unknowing persons. So the only way to provide the true substance of these text threads was to provide it in its entirety with a protective order. That's what we did, and I think that defense counsel would agree that that was the appropriate way to provide it at that time. If we need to make alterations, we certainly can do that. In terms of today, we have continued to treat all entities that have sought this information equitably and fairly. If there is a request for this information, and in this case, it was a subpoena that we responded to. The subpoena came from a specific civil case. We have a confidentiality agreement that relates to this material that Ms. Reed and her counsel agreed to. Then we sought alteration, and this was contemplated in the confidentiality agreement from this court to produce this material for that lawsuit. We did that. That is what Ms. Reed agreed to. She now wants to change that, and then there would not be any sort of litigation or any sort of court proceeding overseeing the next production. And that is the fundamental difference. In a couple of weeks, if there's a lawsuit that's filed, there can be another subpoena. We can then entreat all parties, whoever the parties are, to whatever lawsuit, identically produce discovery in an orderly format to those parties, assuming that that's what's appropriate at that point in time. It is completely unclear to us why we need to deviate from that protocol. And I, again, want to reiterate to the court, we are treating multiple parties in the same way. It is not just Ms. Reed, the town of Canton, Post. There are a number of different entities that have reached out to us asking for this material that we have said we cannot just give it to you. So it doesn't matter who the entity is. We are asking that there be a court proceeding overseeing this material.
Okay, thanks very much. I'll just give you a minute. Go right ahead.
Thank you. First of all, there is a court proceeding overseeing this materials. It's your honor. It's why we're here, why I've now been.
This was so funny right here. It's freaking hilarious right here. They're asking for permission to change it. And she's like, well, we're all good. We're with the state of Massachusetts. We're all good with everything, but they haven't asked for it. Like, what? What the hell was that? Her lawyer's like, dude, that's why we're here, Your Honor. Like, are you kidding me? What the hell was that? It's like, oh, we're fine with this. We're all good with this, but they didn't ask for it.
In here twice as the civil attorney. So again, all I'm asking is you add one case to what you've already ordered. We would have to comply with the remainder of your order in that case.
Do you intend
What kind of pettiness was that?
File
What was that? What she said? I'm still laughing at that. That was like such like gaslighting.
Suit within the next month?
Yes.
When does the presentment period end?
So the state police has actually rejected the presentment, so we could file that. The town of Canton's period elapses roughly mid-May. So that's right around the time.
Okay.
Just briefly, the town of Canton's allegations were brought up about leaking. Ms. Reed hasn't leaked anything. There's no evidence of Ms. Reed leaking anything. First of all, the document that the town of Canton referred to, Sergeant Good's dismissal notice, was produced also by the town of Canton to a third party, not Ms. Reed, not my office, in response to a public records request. The media reporting on that letter that Mr. Proctor's counsel is referring to explicitly says.
See what they're trying to do? They're trying to make every instance of everything is Turtle Boy and Karen Reed when it's not. I think that FOIA request was probably John Como or Giacomo, or Corey Hopkins, right? I bet it was Corey Hopkins who got that. Who's not coordinating. She's an attorney. She's not coordinating with Karen Reed, that's for sure, or Aiden Kearney.
This was obtained by, and it gives the Twitter handle of the party that got that document through public records request. It didn't come from Mr. Reed. So that's just not true. Town of Canton's not here to argue it, but it's not accurate. Also, there was nothing preventing that from becoming public. If for some reason it had come from our office, it's allowed to be public. There's no restriction.
Was that you?
So this idea that leaking, we heard it in the oppositions to this case, that things that are filed publicly will unquestionably be leaked. If they're filed publicly, they don't need to be leaked. They're filed publicly. And we're already allowed to do that in the O'Keefe case. We are just asking to be able to do that elsewhere. And finally, as to relevance, Mr. DeGangi referred to the claims. He referred to what statute it's under, who's a party, what we allege. We haven't filed the complaint yet. He doesn't know what we're going to allege. The point is, we have these documents. They're relevant to the claim that we're going to bring. And when Mr. Proctor and his counsel read our complaint, they'll see why they are so relevant. But this is not a matter we should be talking about relevance in a criminal session where we're just talking about the confidentiality and protecting third parties, which we all want to do.
Okay, thank you, Walt.
Your
I'll
Honor,
take it
may
under
I-
advisement.
may I-
I'll give you,
10 seconds.
yeah, go ahead.
If you allow Ms. Reed's motion, I would ask that the court also issue an order allowing the DA's office to produce these 44,000 pages of documents. I've never seen them. And that's in my motion.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, to be quite honest. So I'm not going to be able to comply with 44,000 pages. So I just want to, that's not the way we produce materials. So.
Okay, I'll take it under
And
advisement.
Judge, I just correct the record. Counsel said we hadn't filed a motion on record in Mr. King's case, and I believe Mr. Johnson's case is our motion in response to the Commonwealth's motion to provide law enforcement bodies information. This is the post stuff. And or to vacate or modify the protective order. It's already on file, Judge. That's all I have to say.
And we litigated that. We changed the order. We litigated before Judge Krupp, and that is the modification that is present.
Was right in the back. You know, if this wasn't important or have a chance of going anywhere, do you think Karen Reed would be in court today doing this again? Once again? This is going to be a big lawsuit. That's what I want to see. I want to hear from the law tubers now, because we've heard them, a lot of them talk about the defamation case. I think some of them have been pretty fair with it. Some of them not. Maybe some of them are biased a little bit, but a lot of them are not. I noticed. I'd like to see what people think on, especially from the lawyers, about her case against the Mass State Police in the town of Canton. That's the big one.
Nice to see you all. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Taken under advisement. Mr. King's case is next on June 18th at 3:30. As to
June 18th.
De Los Santos et al., that's on May 8th at 2 p.m.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
May 8th,
Just so you know, May 8th, I may be on trial, so,
Write them down.
Okay.
June 18th
I
and May
think,
8th.
I think Judge Bravo, is that in this session, Attorney Scarpiccio?
I don't think that it is, Judge, no, I think it's in.
It'll be with Judge Sullivan.
Oh, Judge Sullivan, yeah.
I just want to let the court know, I'm
Thanks.
starting the trial.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
Bye.
You are muted.
You're muted. You may look at the Karen Reed hearing. A lot of people were watching that. A lot of people watching. You know what I'm going to do right now? Since I talked about the defamation case, I'm going to, how do I do this? How do I, hold on a second. There we go. Since I talked about the defamation, let's just play one of the law tubers that I thought did a good job on this. Rich Schoenstein. I think I'm saying his name right, hopefully. If I'm not, please correct me. Let's watch what Rich had to say about this. Let me go up. I think that's good.
Obviously, the greatest defense to a defamation claim is truth. And if you can establish that the comments at issue were true, there's no defamation claim. So if the four plaintiffs, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, Brian Higgins, and Jennifer McCabe, participated in the murder of John O'Keefe, they don't have a defamation claim. And one would presume that would be the primary defense of Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney, because they've been saying for years that that's the truth, that would happen. They can prove that remains to be seen. It's a different burden of proof. The fact that she was found innocent in a criminal trial is of no bearing. That doesn't affect a civil case because the civil burden of proof is less. You don't need proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You only need a preponderance of evidence. The jury is going to be told if you think 50.00001% that these plaintiffs were innocent, then they were innocent. If you think 50.00001% that they were involved in the murder, then that's what you have to.
So that's why this is much more dangerous for Aidan Kearney and Karen Reed, actually. And they do have a defense. I mean, that's the thing. They are going to have the same defense pretty much that they had last time, which is Karen didn't do it. Right? But at the same time, it's a much lesser burden for these plaintiffs. And they have phenomenal law firms behind them. So you can check out Rich Schoenstein. It's Lawful at Lawful Riches. There he is. I also like what JFK, they did some excellent coverage on this as well. Maybe I'll play a little bit of that too. A little bit. Just to give you a taste. I'm looking for it. Hopefully I found the right one here. It's funny, I thought I would find it easily, but looks like they've done quite a few shows. Oh, here it is. This is the one. I thought it was Jay Brill, but I think it was actually James Jackson. That's what it was. It was James Jackson, JFK.
And 47 pieces of tail light, 6 donuts, the waterfall video, all the things that, it was like a scare tactic, the way they dropped this defamation. Defamation, okay, but when you look at it as, okay, you're saying I defamed you, but I have an opinion based on what I know in the first trial, all these crazy things you guys said, butt dials, butt dials answered, like you answered with a butt dial, you deleted, like it's crazy. But why are they so confident? And is that a smokescreen too? Is that back to that word you used, another navigational piece? Is it going somewhere else? Is it already somewhere else? Should we look at that as a clue? I don't know. Wild take, speculation. When I say there's a video I was telling you about James earlier.
Yeah, I think JFK, I don't think is doing a wild take on this. He's calling it a wild take just, because people push back on shit all the time here. But I don't think it's that wild to ask these questions he's asking, especially seeing what we've seen over the last months between the fundraiser and all these videos and the live shows and now the lawsuit. You have to question everybody on this. Everybody.
I don't know if you watched it. I don't know if you had time, but we could get to it. We could play some of it.
Yeah.
But there's a Kate Peter video out there about conspiracy of witness intimidation. And the way she lined up this video, I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, based on the way she lined up this video, I'm not saying that that's what they did. And me personally, there's no blueprint. I told you this earlier. There's no blueprint on how you fight the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. If they're coming for you and they got you in the scope, what are you supposed to do? You got to play dirty. But if they find out you're playing dirty, which they did,
they're going to play dirtier.
Bingo. So the question is this a rollout plan to something else? Question mark. I don't know. I'm not trying to put that even out in the atmosphere. I don't want that type of energy, but I just find it kind of weird that these people would even want to be deposed and try to tell their story when they already look like liars in a trial where they got.
This is the big question. I would, that's why I would love to speak to them. The plaintiffs actually believe that this is going to help them in public perception. Is that why they're doing this? I think so. I think I think that could be actually a motive too. But do they also feel like this is going to open it up for criminal conspiracy for Karen and Aiden again? I mean, you could probably think that they probably want both. I mean, right? I mean, it's probably a 2-for-1.
Passes where they couldn't say, I mean, where they got protected. They were protected. Now in a civil trial, they're not protected. Like, okay, you lied about going home, Higgins. You said you were tired. Why'd you go move cars? Like all these different things. He really wants to do that? Or is there something else behind it? You know what I mean? Like, is there something else brewing that we don't know about? And then, like I said, this girl, Kate Peters, she drops this video. Who, you know, before she dropped that video, did she drop it to somebody else?
I would say so. I would think that at this point, where she's at with her videos and where she's at in her life with the people she's around, she's having some kind of communication to make them a little more telling. You know,
well, definitely Jennifer McCabe has it, right? I mean, we know that KP and Jennifer McCabe are tight, right? I mean, that hasn't changed. So Jennifer McCabe has it. She's watching it. I'm sure she's supporting it.
Didn't see the video? You didn't watch it?
I didn't get to see the whole video. No, I didn't get to finish it, but I see where she's going with it, and it's, you know, it's scary, bro.
It's scarier than everything, if you ask me, because I said this earlier. This is just my opinion, right? And I'm not. This has nothing to do. This. Go ahead. You got something to say? Go ahead.
No. Because I think what we're gonna say is, I think that this is what you know, people that have been in court have been thinking about, like such as Karen, Alan Jackson, Turtle Boy, Kate Peters, or whatever, whoever. People that have been in court have been thinking
about this shit the whole goddamn time. What that? I'm not gonna. I don't want to make it about me. I don't. I'm just gonna keep
about
going.
this for a while, that this could happen. Like Karen thought this could happen back during the Wilbur. She was thinking about this during the Wilbur. This shit could happen, and
we got a text. You got a text.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like that picture that you guys, you know, you see the domino effect with that Kelly Reed picture. And I hate to say it like this, but that's just the way some things happen in my life. And, you know, you could call it a blessing, you could call it a curse, but it's just the way it came in. It came in, you know. I hope you don't think that you seem to know everything you know and about this. Well, why don't you fill me in? And then when I was filled in, I was like, oh, damn.
James is talking about something else that happened this week, which was funny. And it just I'd say, James, don't beat yourself up too much about all that drama, because it just shows you how much people are focused on you. Like, when you ever doubt yourself, just think about that. How focused they are on you. That they're making shit to be stuff it's not even. I mean, they have so many accounts attacking me now. It's an ego boost for somebody that, it's a little bit of an ego boost. They care so much about me, they have fake accounts in my name. Imagine being that lame. Like, really? D-list Mike? Money making Mike? Grinded Mike? This is the one that you're going after?
And I rolled up to the
Feel my
scene, fresh off the airplane.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, I got to tell you something. I'm like, what? And he's pulling me to the side and he's showing me this crazy thread. And I'm like, God damn. Sheesh. Fuck.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, could it be?
Thank you, Bubba.
It would be a good poker face if it was. I tell you that, because.
Well, let me ask you.
Do you know about the Byfield Bubbas? The Byfield Bubba? Bubba Hodge, thank you. I like the Byfield Bubbas. I grew up with a bunch of Byfield Bubbas. Oh, yeah, Weezer Bubba.
Question. Since let's play that game. I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right.
Why would people who murdered somebody, right, John O'Keefe, want to put a defamation case against someone like TB and Karen when they can cross-examine them and expose them for what they did?
It's a big question, right? If they did it. If they did it, JFK. Protect yourself, man. If they did it. Because, it's like, maybe they didn't do it. Maybe John freaking got hit by the plow. Maybe John fell. I mean, who the hell knows? Maybe they know that they're protected. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, if they possibly did it, they know they're protected by the DA's office, right? Allegedly, at least for now. Who knows what will happen after the new year? But how about the feds? The feds seem to have their back now. Like, isn't that why that other dude left the office? Like, doesn't it seem like that? That the feds were interested in this, they didn't get anywhere, and then a new Trump regime came in and basically just shut it all down. Maybe they got friends. Maybe it's funny how people project. They say that Karen had friends within the feds, and that's why they investigated this, right? Maybe there is some truth to that. But maybe the McAlberts now have friends with the feds. Like, that's usually I see that people, when they say things about people, usually they're projecting themselves onto other people. I see that a lot. I see that in me. People who project their bullshit onto me. But geez, I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe they're protected. I don't know. I mean, that is that why Deitch left? And like I said, these are all questions and opinions. I don't know. That's why I like JFK. He asks the questions. I'm trying to be like as transparent on this and like looking at all the possibilities. It does seem weird that they're suing. Remember when Turtle Boy said, "Oh, you'll never just sue me. I'll get all the discovery." It is a bold move. And there's a reason why they're asking a lot of us to admit Karen Reed did it, because they think this is going to shake us. Because it is kind of, it does shake you a little bit. You think about it.
That's a great, I mean, especially them. Because TB went at them the hardest out of everybody. I mean, they could say, oh, well, why don't you go at JFK and James Jackson and loophole lawyer and this one and that one, and you know what?
Some of them are saying we're next, James. I see. There was a few of them. I don't know which one, but like some of the people connected with the Forensic Four on Twitter, they're doing the same shit they used to do to us. Like they've been threatening us for years that we're all getting sued. I think everyone that you named, I don't think you're on there, James. I think JFK was tagged. I was tagged. LTL was tagged. Like we're all getting sued. We're all next. And they kind of said that in the thing, but I'm like, for what? What did I do?
I don't know. I think they feel confident. I think they feel very confident, or maybe they just think that he went too far. with the First Amendment. It could be that, or maybe they know something we don't. That's the only three things I could think of.
In the same week, a video pops out with Kate Peters. All this shit gets leaked. The question is, back in March of 2024, they tried to indict him before. The question is, did they have the same information they had then that they have now? Another question, do you know if they had it?
I thought about this too, Ann, but it doesn't make sense. Think about it. Ann says they file papers. I don't think they will fall through, but what would I know? Well, I think the thing that we should all think about on this, and something that you should know, is look at the law firm that filed. Look at who's behind the lawsuit. These are serious people. They're not going to file a lawsuit to withdraw it like that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think they're going for it all. They're not gonna withdraw this. I don't see it getting withdrawn.
Is it the same information? So the point is, if they go to indict him now for conspiracy for witness intimidation, do they have the same exact information that they have now that they had then, or do they got something new? Are you in the know? Because I'm not in the know. I'm asking you.
You talking about me having a spine of a jellyfish? I don't think you know me. Like, let's go, bro. Anytime. Like, it's funny how people will come at you like that. It's like, no, I'm not really afraid of anything. Just not. I just know that I end up okay. I just stick with what I know and who I am, what I'm about. Like the thing for me too, like if they were to bring us in, like we're all gonna get more attention, more money, more support. So like there's nothing to be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't like going to court. Like I don't like court. Like JFK. I never liked court, even though I'm covering all these court cases, right? Did you see me sitting in the Karen Reed trial? Did you see me sitting behind her? She asked me to sit behind her. Was I there? No, I didn't go. JFK didn't go either. I think we're the only two that didn't go because we don't like going to court. I have been to court for some cases though. I mean, I went quite a few to Kelsey.
I'm not in the know. But what I think they could have, they might have had something back then that they couldn't have used back then that they could use now. That could be possible.
And the way the rollout plan is, well, should I say the presentation of how they would do it? Because who presented it to the jury before? Lally? Now you got this chick, Kate Peters, who, let's keep it real, she's good with the editing skills. She's good with the beginning and the middle and the end.
I mean, yeah, shit.
Tells a story.
I mean, it's all about present.
She tells a story that the average person can follow. The only thing I don't like about her is her voice. She could probably say the same thing about me, which I don't like the sound of my voice either. Some people do. Some people like Kate's voice too. That's the funniest shit of all. Like it's funny. We all have our preferences on that stuff.
Yeah, bro.
Not all the same.
She was good enough for him. He hired her, man. Shit.
Oh shit.
You want to come work with? I mean, KP. Damn. Ghost Rider. She could be a Ghost Rider. For channel.
I'm just saying, who else did she send that video? Like, I'm saying that video you have.
That doesn't mean anything though. This whole they waited a week before time ran out to file the defamation. Of course they did. Well, I mean that's what any smart legal team would do. You gather more info. I mean, that's just what you do. That doesn't discount the lawsuit at all. Like just because they waited till last minute. And actually, I don't even think it was last minute because, maybe on some of the charges against them, you could still, because this stuff, like every time people say something new, the clock resets. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not even the last minute. Maybe last minute for the rolling rally. That's probably what you're talking about. So that's just what you do. I mean, anytime you have a clock ticking, I mean, that's just what that That's what everybody does, just generally. I mean, that's what you're going to see on the, you know, I think Karen probably will respond quicker than Aiden, but even that they have a period of time where they're going to respond, and generally, even in the response, it's going to be the day it's due or like a day before. You know, that's just how these things work. Because you only have a limited time. It'd be one thing if you had 10 years to file it, and plus you had all these trials, and you of course you would wait. I'm actually surprised they filed so early. Actually, I guess because of the deadline on some, maybe there's some anniversaries happening on some of the charges, like you say. But
Played has everybody seen the Mass Hole Mafia? And this is not let's be Mass and Kaz, right? Let's be clear. We're not on
and
any
that's the reason I'm saying I'm surprised they filed so soon, because exactly what this person just said right here. Let me where is it? Hold on. We'll put this one up because I like that comment. Yeah, here it is. I mean, the attorneys waited to file. They've been working on this probably for a year, at least 6 months, I bet. I mean, so that's it's an investment for them too. I'm sure they're being paid some of their money, but I'm sure there's probably a back end deal too. It's probably a hybrid.
we're not on that side.
Speaking of that, real quick, now that I just remembered that picture, right? Everybody saw the picture of me and Kelly. That doesn't mean this is a big kumbaya. Oh, James, he put the picture up with Kelly. Everything's great. Everything's great again. We're all back together. It's so fucking awesome. Doesn't mean that. It just means I have respect for Kelly Reed. Anybody else that shared it after me.
You know what's interesting too on this lawsuit that's been filed against Aiden and Karen is not just for defamation. It's also like this conspiracy angle. And it's funny, like the defamation, I almost feel like they could win that because, and it'll be still tough to win, but they could win that. But on the conspiracy stuff, I don't know. I don't have as much experience in conspiracy on a civil defamation case like this. I don't like defamation. I kind of understand because I've been through it. I've seen other people go through it. But with the conspiracy stuff, I just wonder if that's one that's going to be tossed away by a judge quickly and they really don't have to worry about it, or it might be actually the hardest one to defend against. Might be the most serious. I don't know. I would like to hear what other serious attorneys think about it. Uh, Maybe I'll play Rich again because he does get into depth on some of this a little bit. He doesn't go crazy on it, but that's the one I'm like, wow, conspiracy. You know. I'm gonna skip over this Kelly Reed stuff because I think that's just a lot of. We don't need to hear about it.
Give her information.
Just to be real quick, knowing you, I know that you look at stuff like that because you also do that kind of work. Someone else, the average eye looking at, well, why would JFK say that? Well, because he does this kind of work, so he knows what goes into it, you know. So there's a lot of that too.
Exactly. I appreciate that, James.
Talking about
exactly.
the
And,
KP video.
And let me segue. James does that work too. James knows a lot, right?
They're talking about
when
KP's
you see it,
video
you're like, damn,
skills
she put
here.
in a lot of work.
I skipped
to
ahead a
this.
little bit.
But she's staying on one hit piece, and the hit piece is they conspired to intimidate them. And based on that video, right, she got the point out that that's what they did. I'm not
What's
saying
funny, I don't think you could defame in these lawsuits. Actually, I don't think it's considered defamation if it's filed on a lawsuit. But Pebbles, you make an interesting point because I feel like a lot of the other side, the forensic four and anyone that's speaking on the anti side, they do that a lot though, and it's not in a lawsuit. You know, it's in public. So it's funny how they do what they kind of accuse us of doing. You know what I mean? And I feel like they do it much more than Free Karen Reed. I think there's a few people in Free Karen Reed who do go over the line in some of the statements, but that's on them. If they want to go to court and defend it, I hope they win. Like, I don't want to see anyone get whacked on these defamation claims, honestly. Not good for journalism. but there obviously is a line. I think people should protect themselves. But I see a lot of anti-Karen Reed people saying that. They accuse her of the things, making it like it's a fact. And then they turn around and say, well, these other people are claiming are doing defamation for doing the exact same thing I'm doing. Just they're saying it about somebody else. It's kind of wild to see that. It's really weird. It's like, really? Is that what's going on here? Only your speech is protected? Is that what's, huh? Maybe Karen will sue some of them. Who knows?
Did that. I'm not saying they did that, but I'm saying it's presented in a way that some people could say, nah, I
It
don't
already
see
is
it.
actually.
Or yeah,
but,
I
you
can
know,
see
some
it.
of the other spokespeople.
And I'm just saying it's presented pretty damn good. But to me, what I'm saying is that it really doesn't make a difference what they're presenting, defamations, defecations, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because in the end, none of that shit got to do with what happened to John O'Keefe. But what I'm saying is all these different chain of events, is this something, is there something behind it where it's like, it seems like it's a retaliation thing where, all right, and like I said, this is just a wild take, ladies and gentlemen. A wild take. Remember you used to hate us? Me and James Jackson are back. Can you throw that up real quick, James? We're back. Remember you used to hate us when we used to do the wild takes on Karen Reed? And you guys fucking hated us. You guys used to super chat all the other.
It's super chat my show. I thank you, JFK. You got me paid. I'm the only one who will say that. Thank you, JFK. You were so wild and out with your theories and your talk that people would super chat me to try to get me to badmouth you. I never did, I don't think. I think I was pretty good. Sometimes I would say, yeah, he might be a little bit out there. I don't know. I don't cover that shit. I don't know. It's on my place. Hopefully. I think I covered myself.
All the other creators, James Jackson and JFK, they're talking about Karen. They said that she took a clotipin.
There was so many. He said she fucking wore these stripper boots that night. And she had the jeans with her knees sticking out. I mean, God.
They used to kill us. They hated us, and now
they did.
Now you guys
A lot
are
of them
forgiving
did.
people for people called her. See you next Tuesdays. People got her information leaked, and that's all okay though. That's all
Exactly.
fine. I mean, I
Things
don't
have
get
changed.
it.
Things
James
have
said it
changed.
perfect earlier. You guys got to make your mind up, but we're not on no negativity shit. We're really here.
It's all kumbaya over here. He's reminding you though. I love it. Keep track of that history that people forget. You know, it's so funny. There's all these new people now that think they know what's up. It's like they can't even keep track of like what happened just 2 trials ago.
Concentrating on what is going on here.
Yeah,
like
what-
this
what
is
is-
this is what's going on, because okay, they dropped the defamation stuff. So here's the wild take. They dropped
There
the
it is.
defamation stuff. But yet that could hurt them. That could actually put them in prison. But yet they're the ones that are dropping it. They're the ones that are pushing it. You think they would kind of just fall back, right? Higgins wants to sue TB. TB's going to tell his lawyer everything they need to know. Hey, check out this, check out that. Picture Higgins on the stand. Hey, was that you in the waterfall? Yeah. Didn't you say in trial 1 that you didn't say goodbye to nobody? Yeah. Well, what's this? Right? That's the shit they can say, right? To prove that they didn't defame.
I just hope that all of this gets to be aired out. Like I hope that we get to put it on YouTube, all of it.
They're just going on opinions, right? And then at the same time, it's putting this dude in hot water with anybody who's watching, right? Or at least public perception. But why are they so comfortable, like you said? And then here comes Kate Peters with the hit piece of the conspiracy charge. And then here comes the 4 horsemen, Mama Llama, and all these other people, right? The what is it called? The foreclosure room? What is it called?
Foreclosure room. Jeff K's a good actor. He is a good actor because if you didn't know better, he knows what their name is. The foreclosure room.
There's something with the 4.
The 4
Yeah.
corners.
Yeah,
I don't think James knows. He's like the 4 corners, the forensic.
I think it's foreclosure.
The
Yeah,
foreclosure.
They're selling everything. They're
They're
liquidating foreclosure.
They're selling everything. Everything's on sale over there.
Right. The foreclosure.
I think James wasn't even listening now. He's like laughing.
Right.
Oh
So
man,
and then
so funny.
you got Kate Peters coming through, and then you had Catherine Loftus, who I asked to be on the show, and she said
I want to see that. Why doesn't she go on there? I think that would be a good show for Catherine Loftus. I had some issues with her. We were going back and forth on Twitter. She was like, "Don't use me for content." But like, I thought her recent video about Turtle Boy was hilarious. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was like, "You go, girl." I think she would be good on the JFK show. I'd like to see Attorney Loftus on that. How many people in the chat would like to see Attorney Loftus note your objection on the JFK show? I think JFK would be nice to her. I think they get along well. What is she afraid of? Come on. If you want to see Attorney Loftus on the JFK show, I think he just blew it when he called it the foreclosure project or whatever he called it. But yeah, you want to see that? Some people don't. She's annoying. She can be annoying, but she can be funny too. She's something. You don't think she's interesting? I like her. I mean, I'm not going to say I like everything she says. I've been critical at times, obviously. But I would like to see it. I think that they would get along pretty well, actually. Even if they didn't agree on stuff, they would laugh. God damn, I want to see that. Yeah. Who is she? She's an attorney. Note your objection is what she's called. She's an anti-Karen Reed, pretty much, I would say. She's the one who just interviewed one of the witnesses. What the hell? Which one did she interview? Kerry Roberts? Kerry Roberts just got interviewed by Loftus, Attorney Loftus. Note your objection. I didn't even watch it all. I watched a little bit of it. She's annoying, but it'd be a great debate. I think it would be really good. It takes 7 years to come out of foreclosure. Yeah, TB hates her. Of course he does. What she called him a cop caller. That's what I thought was hilarious because it's so true. He is a cop caller. He is a cop caller. And that's why I think Loftus should go on JFK's show. You know he's not a cop caller. Like us people who aren't cop callers should kind of unite, even if we don't agree on Karen Reed. Like, should be kind of some kind of respect on it, right? Yeah, JFK said she declined, but she could reconsider. Like, she might reconsider, especially if people ask her respectfully. Yeah, she posted a video and said why people are afraid of TB. She knows why. But in reality, it's not really that much. It's like, I've been through it. It's like you're gonna get some people make fun of you. So what? Like they're clowns. Nobody that matters.
Peace to Catherine, if you're watching. I hit her up.
Where's she from? This girl.
She's from Southie. She's from Southie. I hit her up.
Girl?
Yeah.
I hit her up. I talked to her today, and she told me she respectfully declines.
Ah, come on.
Respectfully,
Come on the show, Catherine. You got to come on the show.
It wasn't with disrespect.
You know, out of all shows, Catherine's like, she loves watching JFK.
Exactly. I have a feeling she likes JFK. Look, he's smiling. I think she wants to go on there.
Okay, she's like, oh shit.
Yeah, she's a funny girl.
Catherine doesn't want to go on the Young Jerk. She wants to go on JFK
so
show.
hard to
and he
be
asked her.
professional. Hey, I'll tell you, Catherine, you got that PR clicks on like that. I tell you, but you're like me, it slips out sometimes. I get it. You got to be PR because she had Kerry on. I seen a couple.
And that's what I'm saying. So then she drops the thing with Kerry. So all these different chain of events happen, and then the scare tactic went out. The girl Mama Llama dropped the
Mama Llama, and JFK's pointing out that look, she won't come on the show. Like that's kind of maybe some coordinations going on, right? She had Kerry Roberts on. Now she won't go on JFK's show. Come on, Come on, are you in coordination with them? Is this a conspiracy? Like, it's weird, right?
Dropped a hey, and she added everybody. She didn't at you. Did she at you?
No, I'm saying
JFK got hit.
you
Motherfucker.
leave me the fuck alone.
Leave Jay Jackson alone.
Some people didn't like her coverage.
They
I know.
covered
I
for me.
didn't much like it either,
Right?
but she's
It's
funny.
like, for what though? Like,
I'd like to see her on there.
Higgins don't want that smoke. What are they gonna say? Okay, so you didn't call these guys and say this isn't you.
No, she's
Right?
the
You're gonna
opposite.
tell us.
No.
You're gonna tell us right now.
Hey
that-
man, what's up, guys?
No,
Kevin
Ruby,
from Salt-
Ruby, that attorney is not a writer. She's the opposite. She's an anti-Karen Reed, pretty much. She hangs out with Kerry Roberts. Kerry Roberts was on her show recently. Let's
Boston.
listen to Kevin from South Boston.
That's not you, sir.
And why did you call? What was the show about? The show was about Seaside and about the closeness.
Yeah, exactly. About
JFK is almost salivating. Like, you know, he's like, if you guys sue me, I'm going to ask about JFK. And Higgins calling into my show in Seaside. That would be fun. Like, that's a thing on this stuff. Like, a lot of content could get created there. That would be wild.
you not saying goodbye to anybody, but
Yeah.
you get manhandled by an ATF. I mean, by a pizza man, an ATF agent yourself, such as yourself. I mean, it's just wild. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're gonna say going forward. And yeah.
So the point I was trying to make is exactly everything you're saying, right? I hope it lands right. That why are they doing that? What's behind it? Now, based on this video, and I'm going to play it. Based on this video, I think if they got a conspiracy of the witness intimidation, that case is the hardest case. If they get that case, not just for Karen, but for TB, that's a case. That's a hard case to beat because you can't claim First Amendment on that.
Claim it was your opinion on that. And you can't claim that even your opinion is factual because they did it. You can't claim that, right? You can't claim that. I think they did it. So therefore, right? You can't claim any of that on a conspiracy. That's why I think he's right on this. This could be a bigger problem. I wonder about it. But I also could maybe see it getting thrown out, though. You know, because sometimes a judge will say, that's a stretch. That's too far. That I don't know. See, I'm not an attorney like specializing in this. I don't know. But I think JFK might have a point. If it stands, if it doesn't get thrown out immediately, then that could be the hardest one to beat.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Like every other part of his case is First Amendment. Like, no, I just said this. It means that. Like I went to go to her the football game or whatever it was, right? And I talked to her, and it's First Amendment. Yeah, he's right, right? Like, you know what I mean? It totes the line. But when you watch this video, God damn, Kate Peters. They need to give you they need to give you a badge, man.
Yeah.
Wow, Kate.
And
oh man, someone
I mean,
fucking someone deputized her.
Yeah, I feel like she did more work on this shit than Tully did. Like seriously.
Content creator and came out a state fucking police officer.
Oh my dude, it's wild, bro.
It's crazy. I gotta see this whole thing, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it, dude. I'm gonna find it, dude.
She is. I mean, you know,
she's relentless, bro.
I just think too, someone of her stature, of like how she gets down. You know, whatever you could say, she's been after Turtle Boy, but she's been learning with this, and she's been getting these jobs where she's getting these PI jobs, and let me tell you, those jobs ain't. I don't know, hate her or not, but they don't give those jobs to Joe shit the rag pick. I mean, you can't just get that job. Not anybody can get a PI job. I don't think. Can they?
She's done
Nah.
She's done more than Tully, young jerk says. What up, man? Mikey, what up, bro? Come up here, bro.
Yeah, I couldn't. He wanted me to come up that night. I was like, I can't. I was too burnt to come up. I was like, I don't know what I'll say tonight. That was That wasn't even a late show they were doing, but I couldn't do it.
Oh,
I love it.
God.
Let's get
damn.
everybody up here. Where's
Let's get
Mikey at, man?
everybody
Mikey,
up.
I
come up
know.
here,
Oh.
man. Get the
I love
band
when
back
he said
together,
that.
man. Mikey, it all started with the 3-man weave, bro. It started with you, me, to James. Where you at, Mikey? You want to watch this video? But my point is, after what? And listen, I'm not saying
We're
this.
doing
We
it
all
right
know
now. This is
that
us doing it now.
TB ain't got love for me, and I ain't got love for him. But that, and I always said this. I don't, as much as I don't got love for that fool, I don't want to see that fool go to jail because that's not
Right.
the type of dude I am. But I'm being realistic here. After looking at this, if they push this case and they get it, I don't know how you beat it.
What? Does it hurt Karen?
Yeah.
Both of them.
And it's like, why?
So that's why I said that. That's why I said the smoke screen. I don't want to. Like I said, this is a hot take. This is not me trying to shit on people, but that's what I'm saying. Like with the smoke screen with the free Kelly Reed, it happened at the perfect time because everybody's feeling happy, right? But who knows what's coming down the pipe? Because if it comes down the pipe that they got indicted, the only person you can blame for that indictment. I don't want to hear the Meredith shit because the question is, do we even know? I mean, I'm going to ask you because I don't know and I don't give a fuck because I never was a big fan of Meredith and Meredith knows that, but I'm not against Meredith. I'm not trying to.
I've been asked. Go ahead.
So
I
the-
think I know.
So the question is, and I'm not against Meredith because that's none of my business. She used to be with him. He used to be with her. The shit got sloppy and that's it. And I think it got way.
I should agree with all this. I mean, I might be a little more friendly with Meredith than that, but it's not my business. Like I never got involved in this shit like that. But I think that it has not been proven she did this. People just assume and go after her for it. I've seen no proof of it. And I think it's just as likely that somebody else did it, whether it was one of his hanger-oners who he sends all his shit to, or himself. I think he does have motives for doing it, and I think JFK is getting there if you look at this too. So there's a lot of possibilities here and no real proof. That's what I'll say.
Out of control, and that's my take on it. So leave me the fuck alone. I'm 39,000. I'm flying the airplane. But I do have a question for my co-host who never ever gave up his spot as co-host. And I will always say James Jackson is the co-host, even if he's on a fucking boat in Bermuda. So here's the deal. Do you know for a fact, or are you in the know? Did she leak it or she didn't leak this information? Is she the one that gave it to Kate Peters? I mean, is that factual? I don't know.
That's something I always ask. Like, I did the walks with Luna and I did them private just because I didn't want like people coming in the morning bothering me while I was walking my dog. And I did them private. I had like 30, 40 people in there and it was cool but I would always say like, is there proof that she leaked this? And everybody same thing. No. And then one day I was in TB's chat and I said, is there proof that she leaked this? And nobody say anything. Even he didn't. I mean, nobody's saying this proof she did it, and nobody's saying this proof he did it.
That's right.
So
There's
how do
no
we
proof,
even know?
period, on anybody. Like this is, Isabel says, I think TV or his handlers released all of it, always ready to frame someone else. See, that's very much possible, but we don't have proof of it. Just like we don't have proof Meredith did it. No, there is no proof. Like nobody knows who did it. Like James is talking about him reaching out to people. That's how generally you find out info, right? And nobody could come up with any proof. It's an unknown.
She did it at the
But
end.
it's very
of the day.
suspect that one
I
side
don't-
is asking the other side to, blame somebody, and they don't provide proof.
If anybody does, come forward. Or forever.
And my thing is, if they did get indicted, right, over this shit, regardless, you can't say it's Meredith's fault. Yeah, you could say she's the one that leaked it and
The
whatever,
bottom line.
but it was your sloppiness for having that type of information, number one, in your regular phone. Because no matter what, you should have never kept anything on.
That's it. That's it. This is it right here. Like I'm in a very stable relationship. I don't think it's going anywhere. But I didn't share all my shit in my defamation suit with her or anybody. Just not what you do. You protect your shit, especially if you're a journalist in this position. High stakes murder trial. I don't take screenshots when Karen messages me. I never got close to Karen like that at the beginning for obvious reasons because I'm smart. But if I were to take on that position where I'm communicating with her all the time as a source, I would have protected it. Would have gone all the way. I would have got rid of that phone. I would have got rid of everything. I mean, I would probably be changing my phones. I'd probably be deleting everything. Not keeping new recordings and sharing them around or sharing extractions. I mean, the whole thing. It's a lot of messiness on this. I'm not trying to hate, just this is honesty. Straight up honesty.
Any regular phone. Regardless if it was righteous or if it wasn't righteous. That's just my opinion. You know? Like you should have threw that shit in the ocean. That's number one. That's just my opinion. Like I said, this is just
and the bragging, and they're using this shit to brag a lot too. Do you see this a lot?
My opinion. I'm not trying to shit on nobody. And if she did get a hold of it and she did leak it, I mean, that's your fault. No matter how you look at it. I mean, it's her fault too.
It's both their fault. So
Both their
because you know, I got girls that have found things in my life, in my journeys, in my, let's just say, trials and tribulations. Disclaimer, you know, they may have found things and they just kept going. They didn't say a goddamn thing. They didn't call no police. They didn't call no brothers to come, you know, take my shit or anything like that. I mean, I'm just saying, you have a choice. You didn't have to leak it. So it would be both their faults, I think. So I don't give either one of them a pass.
Right. I think I don't know why they went there for both of them. It was like they both had tunnel vision, and now she's getting sent up. She's getting charged with wiretap.
I think she went there because he attacked her for a long time. I mean, that's what I saw. He attacked her over and over and over again with his surrogates and then himself. And I think that she knew she had all this shit on him and was just like, you know, you want to play games.
I mean, I already said my take on this. I don't agree with that. I don't agree about putting a case on anybody. And just like I don't agree with him potentially going to jail.
So let me ask you this. Is she getting charged with wiretap through the hearing? Or is this something that they decided to charge her with after that hearing that we all
he did that? No.
Oh, because,
let's be clear.
okay,
He brought that shit to the clerk, right? That's like, listen, based on what I know, based on how it went down, because I knew this back when and listen, I ain't even trying to talk about that fool, right?
No, because I'm asking for a reason because he.
But I'm gonna give. But so March 30th.
You're lying, James. Come on, James. Christ, stop trusting this dude. Hasn't he shown you enough?
Would do anything, even if he got the order. He goes, I won't even enforce it.
No.
Well, here's the thing. How
I'm
about
with JFK on this one, James?
This before I speak on it, right? Before I even say anything, I'll just put it like this because I'm not going to speak on it.
Yeah.
You will find out because it's all public record. You will find out. It has nothing to do. The only thing that has something to do with that trial, what she did, is that she fucked up and admitted it. If anything, that's going to fuck her because it's transcribed. She admitted
during
it.
the trial,
Yeah,
right?
she admitted it.
But he didn't have to go forward with it. Is what I'm saying.
Well, he can't pull back now. It's already in front of the clerk. So the so
I wonder if there's not a defense of like a person that's been coerced and harassed. I don't know. I think it's less likely to work now that she didn't win the restraining order.
It goes in front of a clerk, right? You know how it goes. It goes in front of the clerk, and the clerk looks at all the evidence and says, "Is this enough to go in front of the judge?" And based on the new development of her being there saying, "Yeah, I wiretapped him because of this," that's going in front of a judge.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, it is.
Yeah. So, she's gonna be copping out to a 6-month. I mean, that's a 5-year. That's 5 years. Like obviously she's not going to get it, but that's in the state of Massachusetts. That's a 5-year felony.
It's like, yo, even knowing like that's playing with somebody's life, right?
Probably bars her. Like it's going to affect her career forever. And that's why she's probably going to have to try to fight this and not even take a plea deal. Like it's going to be hard. She's a certified accountant. Not sure they're going to certify her if she's got a felony on her, right? Crazy.
Like, bro, this girl ain't. She really hasn't done nothing that serious. I mean,
Nope.
maybe she hasn't. I don't know.
Maybe.
on,
Right.
on your life that you really want this woman to go. Like
Crazy.
you always talk about, you could do 90 years, right? The max she could get is 5 years on that, and you want her to do 5 years. I mean,
Right.
that's crazy. How
It's
could you
crazy.
ever wish that?
Or
I
waste
don't
the
know.
court's time on that.
Like I said, I don't follow the case that much. I've seen a
Me
few
either.
comments and saying it is a child
I'm going
support.
to skip
About
ahead a
you
little bit.
talking about Kelly case.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
To your own opinion about her,
No,
or
I get
that's
it,
what
and
I think.
that's
But then-
what I did. That's all I did.
I'm going to skip ahead a little more.
The night of it, I'm just looking at these events that have been rolling out, and I'm saying this: if this happens, which always been the elephant in the room, that's always been the reason why Karen and this guy don't talk is because it's a huge elephant in the room. Of that is something that they never got. That they pursued it in 2024. They never got it. They could keep pursuing it. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's what she's afraid of. So I think that's the reason why they're apart. Like that has a little bit I think there's more to that. And we all know, me and you and some other people know there's more to it. But there's another reason is because of that's the elephant in the room. Like, you know what I mean? Like they could potentially still get indicted over this. It doesn't matter. They don't got their phones or not. You talked about the phones, right? Well, all that
Stop this. This is a good point. There is actually some potential defenses too on that. What JFK was saying earlier. Spy Girl says Meredith never admitted to illegal recording. We didn't hear the whole recording. She could have told him at the beginning of the tape that she was recording, right? So there could be some different defenses on it. We'll see.
information is leaked. They don't need the fucking phones. I mean, all of it's leaked from his phone. And I don't know if they had that before. I don't know. And I don't want to be on the side of looking at it like
people say
That's
she
a good
was
point,
advised.
though. It's like, they've been talking about their phones and not giving them back. Well, here, you don't need her phone. I'll just leak everything I have.
Yeah.
It's like it's just
don't
a weird time for the shit to come up.
It's
time
weird, man.
is just, I don't believe in time, timing and stuff like that.
I just
like,
look
timing
at it.
for us has always been a good thing, right? We always say it's always about timing. And this timing has been a little, I don't know, questionable. I get what you're saying. I gotta let her in. She's crying.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Take
It
your
also
time.
allows the cream to
I
rise
just
to the
want to
top.
say, as James takes care of Loon, yeah, a play by design. I don't know, man. This is all entertainment, and I'm not trying to put any negativity. I don't want to see anybody indicted for conspiracy or witness intimidation. I don't want to see that. That's not something I want to see, and that's not something that I support. But based on it's already out there, right? It's
what JFK is basically saying is the groundwork for Turtle Boy and his audience has been laid for him to flip on Karen Reed to get out of his charges. That's what he's basically saying here. And he's not saying that that's definitely what's happening. It's just a possibility. He's wondering if that's happening. I wonder the same thing. I don't think the audience would give a shit. I think that most of them are just so brainwashed that they follow him no matter what he does, which is very clear. But the question is, would the DA's office go along with it? I just wonder on that. Would the House defendants go along with it? I guess they probably would. Is that what is actually happening? It's a possibility, people. And if that's the case, maybe that's why he released his own extracts, right? That would be a good reason to drop his phones, right? Is it a play by design? I don't know. But think about what JFK is saying. It's what a lot of people actually think. A lot of people I talk to think this. They don't say it online because they don't have proof. They don't want to get attacked by the cult. But a lot of people think this. That Aiden released the phone extracts. He released his own shit to get out of this, to try to get out of this. So he could rat on Karen. And he's going to play it up. He's going to play that he's trying to work with Karen right now, and that he's going to end up, Karen's not going to work with him, so he's going to tell on her. Like, I don't know if that's true, but that's what a lot of people seem to think in the community. It's a possibility. I have no idea. I don't talk to Aiden anymore. I have no idea what he's thinking. But this shit's just crazy. And this is why Karen, I think, is so like worried about it. I'm going to play a little more of this. I'm going to play a little bit of KP. I definitely have to feed my dogs right now. So I'm going to step out for a minute. I may play a little Rich Schoenstein too, because this is the, JFK, the street guys who are definitely invested in this, looking at every angle of this. But I also want to see what a lawyer thinks too. I want to maybe share some of that with you. So maybe I'll share a little more Rich too after. But I'm gonna take a quick little break here for myself, and I need to get some food. I gotta get some food in the oven, so it might be a little longer break. I'm definitely gonna feed the dogs, probably get some chicken wings in the oven, hit the bathroom, and then I'll come back. But we'll play a little more of this and watch a little of this KP video. I'm not going to play all the KP video, but we'll play some of it.
I didn't make this video. I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm just saying, based on what I'm about to play, ladies and gentlemen, with James Jackson here, since he's been in the news and he went viral, and we've been talking about it, it's just like all these different things. Like as far as like people running with that. Because what's behind that? Like, would somebody run with that? Something positive because something negative is to come? I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Is it a smoke screen? I don't know. All I know is if they were charged with this shit, I don't know how you beat it. When they're still technically the witnesses, they're still technically witnesses in a murder case. Even if it's past tense. And my point is they're being deposed in a civil trial and they don't care about that. Potentially setting themselves up to get the truth out. They don't care about that. Why do they care about making more noise down in Dedham? You think it would all just go away, right? You think that they would just, this dude would go to court in Dedham on his intimidate the witness 9, intimidate the witnesses, which is honestly that motion dismiss is pretty strong, his motion to dismiss on that, because it's all a lie, right? Like they said that he said his video titles were Colin did it, and his video title was actually what happened on 34 Fairview. And that's how they got a grand jury to indict him, right? So so that's how you work a system, right? You work the system on the indictment. What got you indicted to begin with? You start from that. And so when you start from that, well, ladies and Your Honor, this is what got him indicted, a fucking lie. Because he never said that. He could get his shit dismissed on that, and that's good. But I'm saying, what about this? Because this shit, based on how she's putting it down and how she's doing it, it's a strong argument. Like I said, I don't know what his lawyers would do. I don't know what his rebuttal would be. I don't know. Of course, there's two sides to defend it, and that's what you're supposed to do. But based on what I've seen here, it's pretty wild. So let's get to it. Strap up, people. KP is
Randy Allen Boucher. I just saw that. Oh shit! Bringing back the old school. I used to love that bedtime magic.
Yeah, that's who I am now, brother. I'm Randy Allen Boucher.
I'd be laying there in my bunk like, oh, I can't wait to get home.
This is 28 minutes. Let's go.
Karen Reed been indicted for conspiracy to commit witness intimidation. Why hasn't Karen Reed been indicted for conspiracy to commit witness intimidation? Is it because the evidence isn't there? Or because no one wants to act on it? Because according to a sworn affidavit from Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully, the evidence doesn't just exist. There is probable cause. Probable cause that Karen Reed didn't just defend herself in public, but entered into an agreement to target the very witnesses against her. And the law here is simple. In Massachusetts, conspiracy doesn't require a completed crime. It doesn't even require an overt act. Just an agreement, a shared plan, an intent. That's it. So what does that agreement look like? It starts in April 2023, just days after the defense publicly accuses witnesses of a cover-up. Karen Reed is connected to Aidan Kearney, and almost immediately, information starts flowing. Not public information, not stuff anyone could Google, but discovery materials, autopsy photos, police reports, witness identities, even home addresses, all funneled through intermediaries with instructions like, tell TB from Karen, not for public. And then something even more telling, control. Because this wasn't just leaking information, this was managing a narrative. Kearney routinely checked what he could publish. He was told what to use, what not to use, how to present it. Don't share that. Read it, don't show it. Make it look like it didn't come from us. That's not journalism. That's coordination. Over 189 calls, more than 40 hours of conversation. Direct contact between Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney. Not speculation, not theory, call logs. And while that communication is happening, the targeting begins. Witnesses don't just get criticized. They get named. They get doxxed. They get followed. Their homes are visited. Their families are dragged into it.
You got an address too, right? We can knock on your door as well. We can talk to your daughters. We can make things real comfortable.
Their children are photographed. Their phone numbers are broadcast. And then come the threats, not vague ones, specific ones.
Life as normal is over.
A coordinated audience, what Kearney calls turtle riders, is encouraged to act, to confront, to harass, to show up. And they do.
Guy's got his head on a swivel everywhere now. He's like, turtle riders, where are they? I got bad news for you, Chris. I got really bad news for you. They're literally everywhere. You can't, you guys should just stop going out in public.
And all of it traces back to the same pipeline. Information. From Karen Reed to Aidan Kearney to a public campaign targeting witnesses. If conspiracy only requires an agreement, if probable cause is a low bar, and if a sworn investigator is stating that bar has been met, then the question isn't whether the elements exist. The question is, why hasn't anyone acted on them? Were they waiting for something that, until now, no one thought existed?
So they won't be able to find anything because we use Signal.
Turns out that is simply not true.
Oh, fuck.
From the beginning, there was clear, substantial evidence of cooperation between Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney. Go back to the first few blogs. He's already publishing her medical records, pushing this brain tumor angle. That's not normal reporting. That's not something you just find. It reads like advocacy from day one, because it was. But even then, people could wave it off. That stops the second you look at the 2023 extractions. Because now you're not reading tea leaves, you're watching the machine run. April 12th, 2023. The defense files a sweeping motion accusing investigators and civilian witnesses of framing Reed. That's the narrative shift. April 13th, the very next day, Natalie Wawicki, a friend of Reed's and at the time her only real supporter, reaches out to Jennifer Altman, thanking her for her supportive Facebook comments on Reed's behalf. Altman offers to connect her with her friend, Turtle Boy blogger Aidan Kearney. Natalie goes back to Reed, discusses working with Kearney, and Reed agrees. After consulting with her attorneys, she sets up Natalie as an intermediary.
My lawyers told me we could share anything with Turtle Boy as long as it was public and not for me to do it directly to go through a third party. And then I started to get nervous about who I was using for a third party.
Messages go through her. Natalie is instructed by Reed to use Signal. On April 17th at 6:44 p.m., Altman connects Natalie and Carney in a Facebook group chat. From there, it moves fast, and it's deliberate. 18 minutes after that introduction, Natalie texts Carney directly. They don't feel each other out. They don't build trust. They just start working. And Natalie assumes her role as copy and paste intermediary, as Carney would later describe her.
Natalie was nothing more than a copy and paste vessel that just sent messages between the two of us.
For the next 5 straight hours, she is feeding him information and images coming from Reed, while he's asking basic, almost remedial questions and learning the case, from Karen Reed and Karen Reed only, in real time as he writes. So the idea that he independently picked this up and started digging? No. The very first blog was a collaboration, a late-night group project. On April 18th at 12:37 a.m., Natalie passes Carney's phone number on to Karen Reed's attorney, Alan Jackson, more than an hour before anything is published. So before a single post goes live, he's already looped in with the defense team. And if you think that's no big deal, then you have to ask yourself, why did they lie about it? Around 12:45 a.m. Eastern, 9:45 p.m. in California, Reed, Natalie, and Jackson are all up, waiting for the blog to drop. That alone tells you what this is. 2:06 a.m., the blog is finally published, and immediately it gets sent back to Karen Reed for review. Over the next 30 minutes, they send 29 edits, not suggestions, corrections. Things they say he got wrong. 3:05 a.m. Every edit is implemented. 3:06 a.m. Natalie is relaying reactions to the blog from Reed and her legal team in quotes. That's not a source relationship. That's an editorial process. The next day, Natalie tells Carney that Reed has already seen the impact. Witnesses against her are starting to delete their social media. So the effect is immediate. On April 20th, attorneys Alan Jackson and David Yannetti reach out to Carney, this time asking for a call, because he doesn't want to put certain information in writing. Carney secretly records that call and sends it to his mistress with instructions to keep the recording private.
Damn,
The
he recorded
information
your
relayed by the attorneys is the existence of an FBI investigation. Carney publishes it. And then, on May 3rd, Jackson walks into court and presents that same information, framed as if it came from independent reporting.
It's been reported that the federal authorities have now gotten involved in the circumstances surrounding this case and have impaneled a federal grand jury to investigate some of these circumstances. But Karen Reed should not have to wait for the feds to figure out which heads should roll.
It didn't. It came from him. And that's really the through
You think
line.
Yannetti already know?
This wasn't a blogger uncovering a story. It wasn't aggressive journalism. It wasn't coincidence. Carney did not cover the story independently or objectively. And Reed did not just happen to stumble across his reporting, as the narrative they have spun suggests.
He is something else. We couldn't get better PR if we were paying him.
It's because he's 100% sincere, a force to be reckoned with.
She was heavily involved from the very beginning, providing biographical information for nearly all the civilian witnesses against her, identifying targets to be harassed and smeared from non-public information like grand jury minutes, praising Carney as the harassment yielded noticeable results, and witnesses began to react with fear and discomfort. It was coordinated, timed, structured, and edited in real time. then repackaged and sold to the public as
Scotty
independent.
McGinnis.
But as we go deeper into the extraction, thanks to a vulnerability with the Signal
Hankin
app on
McGinnis.
iOS, we
A
are
vul-
able to see more of the communications
Signal.
Carney and Reed took such great lengths to conceal. And the results are eye-opening. Now that we've established that Aidan Carney never wrote a single blog independently, nor sought out any sources of information or corroboration outside of Karen Reed, we can start to get a view of just how contrived and choreographed Carney's so-called coverage of her case really was. As we dig into the timeline of relevant communications with Reed, her legal team, and others, a clear pattern of cooperation to further one goal comes into focus: to terrorize, discredit, and punish those who were slated to testify against her. I will lay out the timeline with as little commentary as possible and just let the messages speak for themselves. April 20th, 2023, 9 p.m.
This is crazy.
David Yannetti asked to call Aidan Kearney. April 20th, 2023, 9:01 p.m. Aidan Kearney sends screenshots of David Traub's Facebook private messages with a friend. April 22nd, 2023, 11:16 a.m. Alan Jackson texts Kearney asking to call him. April 22nd, 2023, 4:07 p.m. Kearney offers to call in approximately an hour. April 22nd, 2023, 9 p.m. Aidan Kearney goes live to smear and accuse witnesses. As part of his stream, he cold calls witness numbers he received from discovery materials provided by the defense.
Oh, you know what I need to do? Well, before it gets too late, I'm gonna make some phone calls. So the reason I asked, do you think they're watching? Because I wonder if they're going to answer their phones. Because all of their phone numbers are in the court docs. I got all the because I got the call rec. So we're going to start with the first one, Jennifer McCabe. Let's see what she's up to. Now here it's ringing.
April 22nd, 2023, 10:52 p.m. David Yannetti texts Kearney to correct the pronunciation of his name, as Kearney was mispronouncing it during his show. He praises the stream. That was priceless, dude. Great fucking show. April 22nd, 2023, 11:32 p.m. David Yannetti praises Kearney for telling the public he does not speak to Karen Reed or her defense team. He says, "I love how you followed it up by, 'This proves I am not talking to him.'" April 23rd, 2023, 11:05 a.m. Karen, through Natalie, tells Kearney about the federal investigation. April 28th, 2023, 10:54 a.m. Karen Reed, through Natalie, pushes Kearney to write more about the federal involvement in her case. April 30th, 2023, 5:46 p.m. David Yannetti wants to tell Kearney something private to give him a heads up for the May 3rd, 2023 pretrial hearing, but does not want it published. May 1st, 2023, 7:27 p.m. Kearney complains to Yannetti that a defense filing is not available in the attorney portal on masscourts.org. May 1st, 2023, 7:28.
Records on his own too, though. I think we watched a lot of this. We could watch a little more, but I will say the dogs have been fed. The chicken wings are in the oven, and I did get my phone call. Well, it's still going on upstairs with a customer, but I was there for what was needed. Hopefully, I don't get yelled at for ditching the call too early. But we have a live stream. I want to continue to live stream. Oh, LaFerrio's here. The LaFerrio, she is the most controversial person on Twitter. I thought I was. Oh man, I'm not gonna say anything about that, but I just don't let him get. I don't know. She's not gonna let him get him down. Because she is. She brings. It's funny. They're coming at me about her, which is funny. They're coming at me, Nan, about you. Like I run you. That's funny. They think I run you. Oh man. Yeah, you're causing the controversy, which is just I'm I think it's and one of the things I think they're coming at me and Brian from LTL is they don't want us to have you on the show anymore, which is because they know you bring us numbers. That's what I told Brian. I said they're trying to take away one of our best guests. Oh, jeez. That's what it is, no matter what. Law Wifey, thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you, Simon, too, for being here. And also another new member. Thank you so much. No one's watching LTL? I am. More people should be, if they're not. I don't know. I think he's bringing a lot of content that people don't see. He's got a lot of documentation. He's bringing out a lot. And you know what? I think everyone's going to be watching LTL when Enrique Delgado Garcia, when those trials happen. That's where I go to. I'm going to actually have LTL. He's on my list. He's going to be coming on the show to talk about Enrique pretty soon. I'm looking forward to that. No drama when he comes on. It's just going to be straight up journalism reporting. You know what I like about LTL too is he represents us YouTubers well outside of court. If you've followed LTL recently, he's been showing up at court when some of these state police officers are indicted and arraigned, and he's outside court. He asks them the questions. He asks them the question in a polite way, but the hard questions, not like any wimpy network TV type question. He asks them the real tough questions, but then he gives them space. He lets them continue to walk. He follows with the camera, but he doesn't, stalk their space. He doesn't harass them. He's making us look good. So I like that. LTL is doing good work. Uh, I'm looking at the chat right now. Oh, the chat's starting up with the Kelly Reed versus Dan stuff. Can we just stop? Just I'm not interested in any of that, honestly. It's just I never had an issue with Kelly Reed. I've never had a problem with Nan. Some people have issues. I have no idea what's going on. I don't even want to know. This is curious because I do recall that Melanie went after a fundraiser for some reason, and I'm not sure why. I still don't know why. I still don't understand why she went after a fundraiser, but what your statement isn't really true, Bella. Not really true on my end anyways. All I did was raise a couple $1,000 for Karen Reed and got it. How much money did we raise for Karen? I forget now. I think we did 10,000 the first show and maybe 5 the second, right? Was that it? Or was it 20 and 10? I don't even know. But we raised a lot of money for Karen and we got attacked for it by Melanie on her channel with a lot more followers. So I don't think Melanie is above drama. I think Melanie likes the drama. She does talk a lot of shit. She talks more shit than I do on my show, and I've talked some shit. So it is what it is. I don't have any enemies. Let's put it that way. I really don't give a shit. But I'm not gonna not tell the truth when people are in here talking shit. It is what it is. A lot of YouTubers talk shit about each other. It's just that's part of the game. But don't pretend you don't when you do. Like that's just kind of retarded, like ridiculous. Sorry, I used that word. I didn't mean to use that word. I don't like to use that word. It's kind of ridiculous. I like that word better. Ridiculous. God damn. All right, let's get back to this a little
PM. Yannetti sends a copy of the non-public document.
more. Uh-oh.
May 1st, 2023, 7:56 p.m.
Yeah.
Kearney sends a screenshot of a portion of the motion with the remark,
That's what gets me too. Like, why did any of them go after any fundraiser for Karen? And then you pretend you care about Karen. It's weird. It's weird shit. And that's like especially knowing that you have the platform that you do. You have so many more viewers. All you have to do is do your own fundraiser. I still don't get why Melanie just didn't do a fundraiser. Like, just do it. Like, you don't need to ask permission, or just hit us up and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. If she had hit us up, I think we would have probably included her. I don't know. I don't know. It was kind of a group decision. We kind of did things as a group, but she didn't ask. I'll tell you that. Um, whatever. I'm not here for the drama. I'm just not. I'm just here to be a truth teller.
Sarah Levinson is in on the lie. Levinson is a civilian witness. Yannetti replies, the truth will come out. May 2nd, 2023, 10:35 a.m. David Yannetti sends information on a permit Tim Albert got to fill in his pool and ties it to court events, as well as a meme posted by Tim Albert
Watch
on
this shit.
Facebook. Tim Albert is the family member of several civilian witnesses, but not a witness himself. Kearney replies, gonna do an update.
This is
May
porn right
2nd,
here.
2023, 1:06 p.m. Kearney publishes the update, using Yannetti's message almost verbatim as his headline. May 2nd, 2023.
This is not good. You get the point of this. I don't feel like we need to play much more of this, honestly. But geez, that is not good. Is there some turbulence in the chat right now? Is JFK in here? I see JFK's here. Mike check to the gods. He's here. What's up, JFK? But yeah, if you wanna watch more of that, because like I said, I'm gonna go eat some chicken wings. And I said I might not even cover this today, and I kind of did. I got you guys got me into it. But I thought that was some good coverage. I liked the JFK. You can watch the whole show. Go check it out. I find their coverage really good. Honestly, that was quality content. And I also like Rich Schoenstein. I could play a little more Rich. We could play a little more Rich to get a kind of a different viewpoint about this defamation case. Because I thought he did a good job too. Let's play a little bit more of him.
I was not expecting to come back on this week, but I hold in my hands a 50-page complaint filed by Jen McCabe, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, and Brian Higgins against Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney, aka Turtle Boy. And I thought I would give you some initial reactions to the complaint, the causes of action, and the now civil
Thank you,
litigation going forward. This is not the first civil litigation in the case. We already have a wrongful death lawsuit. We have some other claims out there, but this is litigation I thought might be filed, but wondered if it would actually come, and now it is here. So here are your four plaintiffs: Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, and Brian Higgins. These are all people who were supposedly inside the house at some point the evening John O'Keefe died and was later found buried in the snow outside of the house the next morning. If you followed the Karen Reed case, you know who these people are and you know how they're involved. Here are your defendants: Karen Reed, who was acquitted last year in a murder trial, her second trial, but she was acquitted, and Aidan Kearney, the blogger, journalist, whatever you want to call him, who goes by the name Turtle Boy. And here's the lawsuit filed in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Superior Court Department, 50 pages long. I'm not going to go through it paragraph by paragraph, allegation by allegation. You know by now I don't do that kind of thing. I will tell you what the causes of action are, and I will tell you what I think of it. Notably, let's start with this. Notably, it is filed by local Massachusetts counsel for the plaintiffs, but they are joined by Christopher Matai of the firm Koskoff, and Biter in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It's possible you recognize that name from the Alex Jones defamation litigation, because that's the attorney who spearheaded a $1.5 billion judgment against Alex Jones for what he had to say about the Sandy Hook.
I just want to say, I want to thank JFK for starting the $5 match. He put it up, and a few people have already matched it. I want to thank everyone who's contributing. Spy Girl, Babsy too, John Trot 420. I love the 420. Happy 420 to you. Hope it was a good one. Recovery Cat, Recovery 3 Hour Y Cat, and JFK Show Off. And did I miss somebody else? I thought I saw somebody else in there. LaFario. She's matching JFK. She's exercising restraint with her money bags. I love it. You don't go overboard. I appreciate the $4.99. I love the match. That's what I like about that. It's a small match. $4.99. Everyone can afford $5. Hopefully you can. If you can't afford the $5, don't do it. You know what I'm gonna do with Rich? I'm gonna put it on how I listen to him. He's good, but he's a little bit slow, I think, for my East Coast my East Coast taste. So I'm gonna speed him up a little bit. I'm gonna put him at 1.25.
School shooting and massacre. And if you followed that litigation, it was really well litigated on behalf of those plaintiffs and came out with a great result. Now, there's one key difference in these two cases, which is the plaintiffs in that case were completely innocent victims. They hadn't been accused of anything. They were family members of children who had been murdered at a school by a gunman. And so they were only sympathetic plaintiffs. There was no issue. And here, there are those who think that the defendants at issue here had some involvement themselves in the murder of John O'Keefe. I'm not going to resolve that issue, certainly not in this discussion. I've never really gone there to resolve it. There was a trial against Karen Reed, and in the first trial, the defense spent a lot of time pointing to what they said was a murder inside the house.
So I want to say I pinned JFK Show Off in the chat. I think. I don't know. It didn't. I pinned it, but it didn't show up as pinned. Let me know in the chat if it did get pinned. It's YouTube's acting a little funky, but I tried to pin JFK Show Off in the chat. If you can, if you haven't, please like and follow, subscribe to him as well. I'm also going to throw Rich's YouTube up there a little bit later. Please like and subscribe to him as well. All right, let's watch some more of this.
And a cover up by the people who were involved in the house, some of whom were law enforcement and other law enforcement outside the house. That trial resulted in a hung jury. The second trial, the defense focused much more on reasonable doubt, which I thought was a much better strategy and got a much better result. It got a full acquittal because the Commonwealth of Massachusetts could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Karen Reed had killed John O'Keefe. There are those who say that they couldn't even prove beyond a reasonable doubt that John O'Keefe had been hit by a vehicle, much less killed on account of being hit by a vehicle, and therefore Karen Reed couldn't be convicted. But there are other people who say that a big problem in the trial was all the media and circus atmosphere surrounding it and the fact that the jury pool had been tainted by some of the stuff that's an issue in this new defamation lawsuit. So basically, I'm going to really cut this case down to its key components. This case alleges that Kearney worked hand in hand with Karen Reed, that Karen Reed fed him information which he posted on the internet to accuse the four plaintiffs of having been involved in the death.
So funny. I'm just laughing a little bit because Rich calls him Kearney. Kate Peter calls him Kearney. But Aiden will say it's Aiden Carney. Just so we clear the air on that. That's Aiden says it's Carney. Some people say it's Kearney. Rich calls him Aiden Kearney. I used to call him Kearney too. I started calling him Carney.
Of John O'Keefe. The complaint alleges that Reed and Kearney knew that was false, knew that they didn't have anything to do with it, and did it anyway. The complaint alleges that Karen Reed did it so she would get an not guilty verdict at trial. She did it in order to affect the jury pool and as part of her defense. The complaint alleges that Kearney did it for money, that he did it in order to build his online brand his subscribers, his contributors, and that he made money. The complaint says at one point he was making $45,000 to $50,000 a month posting information relating to the Karen Reed prosecution and spreading what the complaint says were lies about the culpability of these four plaintiffs. So the complaint says, and then the complaint goes through a lot of statements that were made publicly, especially by Kearney on his program on YouTube or otherwise on social media, where he accused the plaintiffs in this lawsuit of having murdered John O'Keefe. And so it puts a lot of those into the complaint to point to specific allegations that he made. Here's an example here of what I'm talking about. The complaint quotes a program that Kearney hosted in September of 2023 and quotes him as saying to his online audience, "What I'm saying right now is I'm not saying this as a matter of opinion. I'm saying this as a matter of fact that Jen McCabe participated in killing and planning to kill and cover up the murder of John O'Keefe. I am saying that. That is not my opinion. That is a fact." And that kind of statement, the idea that it was presented as fact and not just opinion, is going to be important in this defamation lawsuit for reasons I will discuss. And there are other allegations throughout this complaint about similar comments that were put out there by Kearney as expressions of fact as opposed to expressions of opinion. So the complaint covers the entire factual background relevant here from January 29th, 2022, death of John O'Keefe, which the complaint alleges was caused by Karen Reed driving drunk and backing into him with her Lexus SUV, through Kearney's involvement, his alleged coordination with Reed through an intermediary and through her counsel, including some in-person meetings with her and her counsel. They allege that they were utilizing the Signal app to communicate back and forth secretly. They allege that Kearney was being funneled information from the lawsuit that was filed confidentially so he could put it out publicly. The complaint goes through the two trials of Karen Reed and the fact that they were sort of a circus atmosphere, one leading to a hung jury and a mistrial, and the second trial leading to a not guilty. They allege here that Kearney admitted when the jurors came in, two of them smiled at him. It points to putting out a picture of him and Reed mocking Colin and Brian Albert. And then there's a section on the impact of the alleged conspiracy, which basically alleges that the four plaintiffs have been continuously harassed and intimidated, and their lives have been made very difficult by the public allegations that they were somehow involved in the murder. So we have a number of causes of action. There's a defamation and defamation per se claim against Reed, defamation and defamation per se against Kearney, aiding and abetting defamation against Reed, meaning she aided and abetted Kearney's defamation, and then aiding and abetting against Kearney, meaning he aided and abetted Reed's.
They're both aiding and abetting each other. This is interesting. I never knew you could aid and abet defamation. It's weird.
Defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, one count against each of them, aiding and abetting intentional infliction of emotional distress, one count against each of them, negligent infliction of emotional distress, one count against each of them, aiding and abetting negligent infliction of emotional distress, civil conspiracy, which is kind of a throwaway claim you get in a lot of these cases, and then a somewhat more interesting claim against Kearney for violation of the Massachusetts Unfair Trade Practices Act. That is sort of like a false advertising claim that he was soliciting monies, that he used the likenesses and false informations about the plaintiff in order to profit on his online endeavors. And
that seems like a stretch. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But that seems very funky, that one.
For all of that, at the end, the request for relief is an award of compensatory damages, an award of punitive damages, reasonable attorney's fees, and any other legal, equitable, or declaratory relief. It's a thorough and well-written complaint. I like it. It strikes a good balance between giving enough information to sustain a claim, but not being too much. I mean, you could have written this complaint, it could have been 500 pages because there were so many posts by Kearney. There's so much out there that you could have really overdone it, but I think an effort was made to have it be somewhat concise, but to still have enough information that it would set forth a sustainable cause of action. I don't really see any chance of getting the complaint dismissed. I think it does set forth causes of action that are viable. And so I
think he's correct on that.
I think the case would go forward into discovery. Now, let me give you a few thoughts on it. Well, let me show you this actually. I'm going to focus on defamation. I know there are other causes of action, but at its core, this is a defamation lawsuit. Here are your elements of a defamation claim: a false
This is excellent. This is where I'm going to leave it today. Watch this.
statement of fact, publication to a third party.
So right there, a false statement of fact. I think arguably Aiden
fault amounting to negligence.
Aiden did that, right? It seems like. I mean, you could argue that at least. Whether or not it's factual or not, that's what it's going to come down to, actually.
Or higher, and damage and harm to reputation. So some of these are pretty easy. Publication to a third party. I mean, definitely Kearney's statements were broadcast purposefully on YouTube, on X, on other social media platforms, on his publication. So I don't think there's any issue about publication. I don't think there's any issue that there were damages. I think there's obviously some damage to these four. They've been maligned. They've been attacked. They've had to essentially go into hiding. I don't think there's any question. There may be a question as to the amount of damage. I don't think there's any question. So the issues in this case are really going to be where there are false statements of fact, and is their fault amounting to negligence or higher. Obviously, the greatest defense to a defamation claim is truth. And if you can establish that the comments at issue were true, there's no defamation claim. So if the four plaintiffs, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, Brian Higgins, and Jennifer McCabe, participated in the murder of John O'Keefe, they don't have a defamation claim. And one would presume that would be the primary defense of Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney, because they've been saying for years that that's the truth, that would happen. Whether or not they can prove that remains to be seen. It's a different burden of proof. The fact that she was found innocent in a criminal trial is of no bearing. That doesn't affect a civil case, because the civil burden of proof is less. You don't need proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You only need a preponderance of evidence. The jury is going to be told, if you think 50.00001% that these plaintiffs were innocent, then they were innocent. If you think 50.00001% that they were involved in the murder, then that's what you have to find. It's just on the cusp of 50-50 in a civil trial. And so the result of the criminal trial doesn't matter. This is going to be a new playing field, an even playing field. Also, you're going to get a lot more evidence in a civil trial than you can get in a criminal trial. There's much less fear about being unnecessarily prejudicial in a civil trial. So the amount of evidence that comes in is going to be greater. So whether or not these statements were false is going to be hotly contested in this case. Were they statements of fact as opposed to statements of opinion? That's why the complaint points to Kearney specifically saying, these are not opinions, these are facts. He was not purporting to be a commentator commenting on the evidence. He was purporting to be reporting fact. It's one thing to say, I think based on the evidence I saw, that Karen Reed probably backed into her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, and left him to die in front of the house. It's a different thing to say, I know as a matter of fact and can tell you conclusively that she did it. Those are different. Opinion is generally protected. Statements of fact are not so protected if they violate the defamation standards. Fault is also an issue, right? And this is an issue. This is the one issue where I think, well, so you might say, well, doesn't Kearney have a right, free press, free speech? He's a journalist, or at least he's a blogger, whatever you want to classify him at. Doesn't he have a right to speak? He does as to opinion, but not necessarily as to fact. And that distinction is going to make an important difference in this trial. Generally speaking, I think this case looks slightly stronger against Kearney than it does against Karen Reed. And here's why. Karen Reed was a defendant in an ongoing murder prosecution, and a lot of her conduct is protected, is privileged, because she's involved in a criminal case. She's allowed to say things in the criminal case, even if they're potentially defamatory. You're allowed, if you're a criminal defendant, to accuse somebody else of committing the crime. That doesn't subject you to defamation. What you do in a courtroom, what you do in a legal pleading, what you say to a jury is generally protected. The difference is when you go out on the street and say it, or you go on TV and say it. There are allegations in this complaint that after the trial, she went on a podcast appearance and accused these plaintiffs of having been involved in the murder of O'Keefe. That may not be protected, but what she did at trial would be protected. Now, the complaint also argues that basically this was a scheme where Reed and her attorneys funneled information to Kearney, knowing that he would disseminate it. And that's why there are those aiding and abetting allegations in there. And you might find that those are defamatory statements, even though they didn't make them directly. But it's a little bit tougher, right? The complaint names time after time after time that Kearney directly accused the plaintiffs, or at least some of them, are being murderers, and they don't have that kind of allegation for the most part for Reed, because she wasn't saying those things publicly during her trial, and what she did at trial can't constitute defamation. I hope that makes sense. Now, there's one.
Sure does. It sure does. And he said, he said these things on his show. That's the key, right? This is not good for Karen, though, and I think there could be a criminal element to this that they're hoping for.
One part of this case that is stronger against Reed, and that's fault, because I showed you the elements. The third element is fault amounting to negligence or higher. So if Reed actually killed O'Keefe, then her accusing other people of doing it was obviously negligence or higher. It was intentional. She knew they were innocent because she was guilty. Kearney, on the other hand, wouldn't necessarily know for sure one way or another. And he might have been disseminating information based on what he thought the evidence said, and will argue that even if it turned out that that was untrue, even if it turned out that the information he was putting out there wasn't accurate, he had good reason to believe in its accuracy. He had hundreds of reasons to believe in this accuracy. He was concerned about the role of Boston law enforcement. He was concerned about the investigation itself. He was concerned about bias that was apparent against Karen Reed in the course of the investigation, and the connection between the investigators and the people in the house. And all of that led him to make these statements. And he was
what Alex Jones didn't have. So when they talk about Alex Jones attorneys, the plaintiff attorneys that sued Alex Jones and won, Alex Jones didn't have any of this going in his favor. These attorneys are definitely very serious that are, charging Aiden and Karen on defamation, but they didn't have all of this Proctor stuff and the relationships between the House defendants, the House plaintiffs, and Proctor. So Aiden and Karen do have a lot of defense. I don't know if it's going to work. This is going to be, who the hell knows, right? You can't really predict this. Couldn't predict this. All right, I'm gonna throw Rich's YouTube in the chat. If you want to follow Lawful Riches, definitely do so. We've shared that a couple times in the chat tonight. I found his commentary very good. We'll play a little more.
Concerned that an innocent woman was getting railroaded. He could try to point to all of that and say, even if this stuff wasn't true, it's not my fault. I wasn't negligent in putting it out there because it was perfectly reasonable to put it out. In fact, many people to this day believe it's true. Although that's a little bit of a circular argument when you think about it. So overall, I think
I think it does work. I wonder if the judge will allow it. I'm pretty sure. I mean, there were a lot of us who believe there was something fishy with this, Not just like one person. It's not like a conspiracy theory. This was pretty mainstream.
Against Kearney. Also, he's got a profit motive alleged for putting this stuff out there. He's trying to build a platform and make money off of it. And Karen Reed is just trying to stay out of jail. So in a defamation context, his motive is less supportable than hers. She's trying to fight a legal case. He's just making a profit. There's a lot there in this case. I mean, I'm only scratching the surface just to give you some initial reactions. In this kind of case, assuming it goes forward, assuming it gets past a motion to dismiss, it will enter discovery. And that will be extensive, digging into whatever communications Reed and Kearney had with each other. Again, civil litigation, unlike criminal matters, Karen Reed has to testify. There will be a deposition of her if this lawsuit goes forward. There will also be depositions of Jen McCabe and the Alberts and Brian Higgins. There will be depositions of those. There will be deposition of Aiden Kearney after they hand over all of their communications and relevant evidence. And that will be fascinating to watch. Following that kind of discovery, there would be potentially summary judgment motions with both sides arguing that the case should be either resolved in favor of the plaintiffs or dismissed. And assuming that there are issues of fact, credibility disputes, and that kind of thing, the case could go to trial, as the Alex Jones cases went to trial. Now, you may remember in the Alex Jones cases, he refused to provide a lot of discovery that was required by the court and ended up forfeiting essentially on liability. And ultimately, the trial against Alex Jones had more to do with damages than liability and amounted in those massive verdicts in favor of the plaintiffs. Very well done by counsel there. Presumably, a trial in this case, liability would be hotly contested. Liability would be hotly contested. Damages would be hotly contested. Will it go forward to trial? I mean, most civil cases don't. I said time and time again, most civil cases are resolved on the papers or settled. Are these parties going to reach a settlement? I don't know. I don't know. Fascinating development in the Karen Reed case. I'm going to stay on top of it because I'm interested. And I'll be back to report more if and when it happens. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, all that jazz. We'll see you soon for now.
Check him out. Lawful Riches. That was good. That was a good rundown. I like that for Rich. He did a good job on that. Lawful Riches is the YouTube channel. Yeah, he's got one hell of a head of hair, too. I know. It makes my hair look bad. What's up? Rich, come on. You're making us all look bad. Look, I'm taking the hat off. I unbrushed hair. Try to compete with Rich. His hair, I know. His hair makes my beautiful hair look inferior. And he does have some great hair. All right, I want to thank all the super chatters. La Wifey said she was going to wait till the end, but JFK brought her out early. She sent $6.99 Canadian, not California, Canadian, $6.99. Thank you so much. Nan also hit us up tonight. And Babsy and Spy Girl. I went through some of these. John Trott, 420. I think I got everyone. I'm the guy that always thanks you 2 or 3 times because I want to make sure I don't miss anyone because it has happened before. Recovery. Kat, thank you again. JFK Show Off, thank you for getting it going with the match. That did help. Law Wifey. Simon does her research. Oh, God, I love you all. You made it worth it today. Last minute show. Well worth doing today. Thank you so much. It was nice to see you all. I have a lot of upcoming potential guests I'm planning. Looking forward to. We'll see what happens very soon. But make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow. And make sure you check the notifications because you never know when I'm going live and who I'm going live with. Just checking a couple things here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I think I'm good. I think I'm all caught up. Are you all caught up? Oh, what's the deal with Afro Man in Vegas? Oh shit! Is LTL live soon? I'll redirect everyone over there. Yeah, everyone who donated is awesome. Yeah, I got an invitation by Afro Man actually to an event, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go, but I think we might send somebody to cover it. We'll see. I'm still keeping in touch with Afro Man. So we're going to be supporting Afro Man. He's still suing. He won his case and then the judge makes him pay damages. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Lawyers' fees. So we're going to support Afro Man. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect you over to LTL. So somebody reminded me LTL is going to be going live soon. It's probably not in a while. I thought it was like 7 or 8, wasn't it? I think it might be a little too early to redirect, but we'll do it anyways. We'll get people there early. Sometimes people are like an hour behind watching anyway, so if it sends a few people there, it'll be better than none, right? Let me figure it out. I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna redirect. Let's see what time LTL is going live. Unless JFK, because I owe him tonight. He's been here. Oh, he's going live at 6:30. That's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, he's going live at 6:30. I guess I'm just gonna chill out for a couple more minutes to keep everyone here till 6:30. Right? Why not? Why not try to maximize for LTL? What's up, Nan? Thank you for being here, Nan. Oh, not that Gen X just gave $19.99. You made the night. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be able to get some steak tips again. Money making Mike. Thank you so much. Oh, did you guys hear the Galera showdown? Maybe we should play that. That was kind of fun. Galera called in. He tried to troll me on Nina's Spaces. Did everyone hear that? He came at me. You call yourself Money Making Mike. I didn't give myself the name. Jessica Machado did, and then JFK ran with it. And I just think it's funny. I would never call myself Money Making Mike, but when people got jealous of the money I was making, I fucking enjoyed that. I did. I enjoyed it a lot. Jess, I know Jess thinks she's doing so great. I hope she goes every night live every night for 2 years and kills it, and then she could feel like what I had for the last 2 years, which is awesomeness. And then she won't be jealous of it. Yeah, it takes me a long time to say goodbye, especially when people are here in the chat. It does. It was 8 minutes, now it's 6 minutes. We're gonna help Afro Man fight those fees. He's gonna have a special announcement upcoming too, from what I'm told. Get Howie on again. I'm sure Howie would come on again. Maybe we'll promote that Karen Reed car auction. I'll hit them up about that because I think they're a part of it. Yeah, you love me some lemon pound cake. We all love that. Yeah, it was nice to get that message from Afro Man's people. They enjoyed that interview. There was a lot of also they try to. It's funny the trolls try to make that controversial. Like that wasn't a fun interview. Like we didn't have fun. Like fucking Afro Man liked it. Well, you know, the best thing about that Will thing is when I said to him, like, he was all butthurt because they didn't want to listen to it. Like, basically, Nina's running a space. What I like Nina. Nina, like, I might not always agree with when she cuts people off or when she moves on from things, but it's her space and she decides how it's run and she knows what she wants, which that's what I respect. You know, people that have a vision for what they're doing and they stick to the vision. And her vision wasn't to have the Galera come up and try to start shit with me. And nobody wanted to listen to it. Like everyone was like, move on, get rid of him. Nobody wants to listen to this. And he got all butthurt about it. You try to shut it down. You're trying to protect my, and she and everyone else is like, no, we just don't want to listen to it. Like this is so played out. This is what you do every night on your show. Like nobody here wants to listen to that. There's no interest here. And I basically had to say to him at that point, like, dude, just face it. You're not that important, and neither am I. Like, it's really not that important. Which I really think was crushed to his ego because he can't handle that. Like, we are all just specks of grain, and he pretends that he's like that, but he's really not. He's really very ego based. He's very ego based, and just the fact that he'll go to how much money he raised for Karen, like that just shows you. And I love that I asked him the question, do you want to sleep with me, dude? Is that it? Do you want to sleep with me? I thought that was funny. People, that's what seemed like resonated with the audience the most because I heard that night and the next day, people were still laughing about that I asked him if he wanted to sleep with me because it seems like it. Yeah, I think that's the thing too. He's like, the other thing he's kept saying, you can't carry a show on your own. I think I carried a show on my own today. I think I have carried a show on my own plenty of times. It's just the fact that I don't really like to listen to my own voice. I don't like to just listen to myself, even with the chat. Like that's the best part when I'm solo is I get to talk to you. Like my thing that I enjoy is talking to people, interviewing people that know more about things than I do. So I learn and the audience learns. And that's always what has been a success of my show is following my interests, which is usually talking to people, interviewing people, reaching out to the network that I have. And he acts like that's such a shady thing. It's like so many shows do that. Like so many shows do. That's what does Joe Rogan, is he going to say that Joe Rogan can't carry his own show too? Is that like, because I've never seen Joe Rogan do a show without a guest. Like, would he say that to Joe Rogan? I'm bigger than Joe Rogan because I don't need guests. Like he's fucking insane. It's fucking funny. He's so caught. He finds out these little like things that he thinks are daggers and arrows, and they're really not. It's like, this is just a way for you to feel better about yourself, because when I have good guests on the show, I was getting more views than you, and you got very upset. That's really what started it with the Glare and I. He got very upset when my guest list was crushing his show. When he couldn't carry a show with a big enough audience anymore, it crushed his ego. And for me, I don't give a shit. And the other moment I loved on that is when I got to say to the Glare, when he's talking about the numbers and how much money he's making off of me, and I looked right at him and I said, Glare, how many people you think would be watching you if you ever went up against Aiden? And he couldn't admit it. He couldn't admit that he'd have less viewers than I would. And those are the facts, Jack. You would have you would have less viewers than I do right now if you went up against Aiden. And that's the facts with the Glare. He is owned. He's nothing without Aiden. He talks about needing someone to carry a show. He is nothing without Aiden. I mean, remember when I mentioned earlier about the projection on people? When people project what they are on you? How would the Glare do without Aiden Carney? Imagine if the Glare did a month of shows and didn't mention Aiden, didn't cover Aiden, tried to go find his own content, didn't mention any of the Free Karen Reed universe, any of our shows. Didn't mention any of our shows. Tried to do content that wasn't. How do you think he would do? Would there be 5 people watching? I don't think so. So I think that's pretty funny that he talks about that I can't carry a show on my own. He can't carry a show without Aiden. Those are the facts. LTL's coming up. I'm going to log off. I want to thank you all for donating and being here today. It means a lot to me. I love you, jerks. I do. God bless you. Yeah, that's the thing. Someone mentioned somebody else is doing the same. They're all doing the same. And that's the thing. They don't believe in themselves. That's the difference between LTL and JFK and myself and some others that you know. We actually believe in our content. We believe in ourselves. We know that we can carry a show without all that. We don't actually need that stuff. And yeah, we might take a dip for a little while, but it comes back. It comes back, and usually comes back a lot quicker than you think. Before you know it, you close your eyes, and it usually happens when you don't expect it. So I'll see you over at LTL. I want to thank you all for watching me today, sharing and supporting. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscription button. Share it around. Invite your friends. Tell your friends to subscribe. If you know somebody that needs the jerks in their life, let them know. Spread it around. I will see you soon. I'm not sure when, but trust me, we're going to have a lot more shows upcoming. Some guests, too. What the Glare hates when we get guests on the show, we're going to have some guests. Yes, we got each other. Thank you, Deborah Jean. I love our chat. Thank you, Miss 808. Good seeing you again tonight. Recovery Cat, Sheila and Friends True Crime Chat. I always have a hard one on that one. Sheila. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Law Wifey, too. She's been here tonight all night. Thank you so much. I love my ladies in the chat. Spy Girl, another one who's been here all night. Thank you so much. Thank you for standing strong with us. Integrity, yeah. It means everything. It means being able to sleep at night. That's the most important thing. Be able to sleep at night. Feel good. Not sell out. We do. And we have the best audience. That's the thing, Simon. Simon, you're here with these great ladies here, right? We have the best chat, the best audience. All right, later, jerks. We'll see you soon. Sheila TCC. Yeah, that's it. Sheila TCC. That's easier for me to say. Yeah, exactly. I gotta go get the wings. The wings are in the oven. I'll see you soon, jerks. Thank you so much. Have a great